And that will be liftoff in 2023. Welcome along. This is the place to be. Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. Dave Orton. Second day of a double header. What fun we had on New Year's Eve. But it's all about Cheltenham this afternoon. We pop across the border to Musselburgh as well. Really good card up there. 7 live races coming your way. Starting off with the Dipper at 120. All the best tips in the business, of course. If you want to know where your money went this afternoon, if you're having a flutter on the first day of the year, who's feeling lucky? This is the place to find out where your money went. Anti-post reaction, so much time to talk about it, all this that is life and racing. In between the races, thumbs up, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. That's your way to interact with us here on the show. We'll give you a shout out. Want to talk about New Year's resolutions? Any wishes for 2023? Who's feeling terribly hungover after an absolute belter last night? London was alive when I left it. Who's feeling fresh as a daisy? Like me. All right then, so we're going to teach you all about Betfair and the Exchange and the Sportsbook as well. Barry Orr's back for another one, but let's go down the panel and see how they're doing as well. If you want to get involved on Twitter, anything, it's hashtag RP Live. Charlie Poste, a double header. You're looking a little bit more pale than this time yesterday.
Do you think?
Well,
yeah, it was a late finish for me. I think I got into bed about 3:30 a.m. Yeah, and then I was up at 7:30, so not a lot of sleep last night.
Well, when you run a yard like you, that's sort of, you know, that's sort of give and take, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of the course.
But you're alive today. You come alive with this sort of thing, don't you?
This is the sort of stuff I live for, you know.
You do, exactly that. And, of course, we welcome back. He's had a little break over Christmas. And look, we've told him he's got to wear collars a bit more. Yep. I think this is the first time mint lime green has ever been seen.
Yeah,
on Racing Post Live.
Shout out to Louise and Tony Wilders. I gave them the brief. I need collars for RP Live. What can you do for me? So they went on ASOS and they bought me this lovely, gorgeous mint T-shirt.
Only you could pull it off, Robbie. That's the thing.
Yeah, I quite like the fit, mate, to be fair.
Fresh,
They've
isn't
done
it?
all right.
Fresh,
yeah.
Merry
Christmas.
How are we approaching 2023? Full of hope?
Yes, it has to be better than last year is my approach every year. And
I imagine you must think that every 31st of December.
It never seems to get better though. So.
Oh, come on, hope springs eternal, Rob.
I tell you what, I'm going to cry in a minute.
Oh,
that's too depressing.
Yeah.
I was doing that for effect. It's
Don't
great
feel
year.
too sorry for him. But you're pressing the buttons today?
Yeah, God help us.
Okay, good stuff.
We'll be fine though, yeah.
There's a couple of really, really good chances today. Thrilled to say, look, we're back 24 hours later. Did we just sip on the old champagne last night, Barry? You're looking fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, it was quite enough night. I well behaved, I suppose, yeah, knowing that today's a big day. And I've had me fill of it over the Christmas now, it has to be said. I'm glad to see the new year and the new beginning.
It's a little bit like that, isn't it? Who does the dry Januaries? I don't know. My wife's birthday's bang in the middle of it, so it's a forlorn task.
Is that what you're blaming it on?
Well, it's always the case.
Oh my!
I mean, your
poor wife. You're saying the only reason that you don't do dry January is because of her birthday.
A demanding female, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
So, but yes, we have to go out and have a few. But Barry, there are some really big horses running today. We start off with the Dipper, of course. In Ireland, of course, we go back to Tramore, don't we? Statler is charged with being the new album photo, if you like. But we've got a Gold Cup winner in there as well.
We certainly have Manila Indo. It's a fascinating little race. Only a couple of runners, but it's competitive at the head of the market between Sattler and Manila Indo. Sattler, obviously, to give that weight to Manila Indo. If Manila Indo's anyway straight, I'm with him for sure in the Savills.
And it's good, isn't it, that we go to Tramore and we've not got a 6-on shot that's just expected to go around. Usually we're looking for the distances, we're looking for with-outs and forecasts, but this one we can have a single trade, and that's what you'll be doing all day for us.
I certainly will. Yeah, I'll be using the Betfair Sportsbook and the Exchange. The offer today on the Sportsbook, interestingly, is bet 10 on horse racing multiples and get a free £10 bet on horse racing multiples, which is handy for us because we're investing 30 quid in our each way lucky 15. So regardless of what happens in that each way lucky 15, we still get a £10 free bet on horse racing multiples, having invested a tenner or more on horse racing multiples. So that's something to watch out for racing fans. There's so much action across UK and Ireland today. There's plenty to get stuck into. Anywhere from a double constitutes a horse racing multiple.
Oh, yes, I fancy having a go at that myself today. All right, so we start off with the Dipper then, Thunder Rock versus Monmoral, however you look at it. But Barry will be placing and trading every race. You don't have to out there, of course. Safe gambling is what it's all about, especially in 2023. And but there is a way to, of course, have a small outlay, Barry, isn't there, and have a bit of fun throughout the afternoon, which is what you're going to do for us right now.
Yeah, we'll do our charity each way lucky 15. Obviously, it's 15 bets. We're going to do it for £1. So that's £15, and we're going to do it each way. So it means it's going to cost us 30 quid. But the first leg is going to be in the 150 and the 125, the Dipper, the 120. Sorry, the Dipper. It's the real whacker. I really like him. We'll talk about him more in a minute. Then in the 230, it's First Street. Then in the 305 Hector Javelex, those three are obviously all Cheltenham. And then our 245, we got the Musselburgh Socialist Agenda. That's the one we're putting in there. So it's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, and 4 single bets. Adds up to 15 bets. We're doing it for £1 each way. It's going to cost us 30 quid. But like I said, if you bet 10 or more on horse racing multiples today, you get a free £10 bet. So regardless of what happens to our lucky 15, we have a £10 free bet on multiples, which is great.
What's that paying, Rob?
11.5 large.
Nice.
Won't go down too
The only way is up from the 1st of January, isn't it? So look, good luck with that, Barry. If you want to get involved, you can do that. You'll see the selections come up on the screen shortly. There's the market for the dip up. We're 15 minutes away from that. A novice chase that has a history of breeding Cheltenham Festival winners, no lesser than Long Press won it last year, of course, before he went on to take on the Brown Advisory. But even beaten horses can go on and be, real stars at the Cheltenham Festival as well. Check out the history of it. We'll give you in-depth insight into what we think is going to win these races, of course. We'll have some fun in between them. We know we've got viewers from all over the place as well. Let us know how you spent your final day of 2022, your final night, of course, and what you're doing on this New Year's Day. You plodding up, watching the racing? It's great, isn't it? This is always one of the really good days to go to a pub and watch racing, I think. You know what I mean? If you can't get to a track or, get out, let's have a little pub. It's absolutely superb. If you've got a racing pub around you, you must have plenty of them, have you?
I don't know if we have got that many racing pubs
Is that right?
around us. Yeah.
Again, maybe that should be your resolution. Go out and,
Find
spread
one.
the good word.
Find one or create one.
Create one. Ooh, there we are. There's a look.
Yeah.
He can afford it, that's for sure. Jake Galloway, the first social of 2023. What an honour, Jake. And great to have you with us. Afternoon, guys. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year to you as well, Jake.
Happy New Year, yeah, quite
and yourself too in 2020.
Very, very good. More Happy New Year wishes coming our way. All our regulars are out there, which we absolutely love. And Tom Leach, good to see you, Tom. Robbie, who cut your hair? Stevie Wonder?
Sorry, what are you alluding to, Matt?
I'll tell you.
This is, I get stick from my mates from all the time. They say every time he turns up, his hair looks different. I've got a million different styles.
New Year, same banter.
You're a chameleon, aren't you? A bit like Dave, I think.
Well, he looks like a chameleon. He looks like Robin Hood in that top,
geezer's hair looks the same every time I see him.
Yeah, quite right, absolutely.
Your hair's a bit shorter this time, actually.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Recently.
Yeah,
I image to protect, man.
fresh before Christmas.
All right, okay. Listen, great to hear from you guys. Let's get some tips underway, shall we? And good racing pubs, let us know. Posty says he hasn't got that many around him. I remember Tom Park, the Weekly's editor, came on once and said about his famous London pub. The tweet that we put out about it went absolutely mad. Good racing pubs.
I mean, the Plough was always a great pub in Ford,
Is that an Lamborn pub?
No, near bottom of John Joe Neal's.
I wouldn't know too much about that area.
You
never get the
characters
invite
there.
down to the
Warren
Jackdaws.
Marston and those.
Was I?
Yeah,
he's a character.
You're a friend of his, aren't you?
He's
Yeah.
my pal. Yeah, absolutely, quite right. Yeah, okay. So, and especially if you see some racing aficionados, I've got one near me, and you get the likes of Mike Catamon and Mike Dillon in there. The two mics. We get a few jockeys coming in as well. It's just great. But listen, this is a great day to watch, plot up, amazing racing at Cheltenham. It's a great way to start the year, and slightly unusual, isn't it, that we've got 7 meetings across Britain and Ireland. The weather is at Exeter. There's been a lot of rain there
inspection.
finally, but this is unusual.
Yeah, it's great. It's brilliant to see. I mean, I think we talked about it yesterday. We've been blessed with big fields and competitive action. I mean, yesterday was great.
The great game is alive. All right, who's going to take out the first? And there is Barry's lucky 15, guys. A reminder: Il Rodotto in those Hermes Allen. Now the dust has settled on him. What do we think? A lot of you in the chat yesterday saying about the Cello winner being overhyped. Are you now starting to believe a little bit? I think I am. Easiest and best Grade 1 winner I've ever ridden, said Harry Cobden. First Street then, the Jerry Fielden winner, up in trip, isn't he? In a really tight-looking race there. Can't wait for the rail keel. Socialist Agenda, Laura Morgan, has got form around there. Racy horse. And Hector Javelax, there you go, in the last, 7-1 shot. Juicy stuff. All right, download the new app. You can see that there. We'll be giving you spotlight content throughout the day. Premium stuff here in your members club. Go and sign up. If you not do it, download the app. Of course, it is free, essential stuff. All right, okay. Dipper then, Barry. Who wins?
Yeah, so the market can't separate the two at the head, Thunder Rock and Monmoral, although just in the last couple of minutes, Monmoral has gone into favouritism. So they've flip-flopped at the head of the market. Beauport 7.6, 8-2 Harper's Brook, and the real whacker 12.5. He has been considerably bigger than that. He's been matched at a high of 23 on the exchange. Obviously, there's a small reduction factor there with Mortlock coming out. But I like the Real Whacker in it. I really enjoyed the way he jumped and the resolution he showed after jumping to hold off Indigo Breeze over 3 miles here back in November. Gavin Sheehan rode him that day. Obviously, we've got Sam Twiston Davis on him today. He's the rag of the field. There has been a few quid from him. We have him in our lucky 15. In the win market, we're just going to in the place market, please. There's 3 places on the Betfair Exchange here, and we can bet them at odds against 2.24. So we're just going to have 25 quid on. Happy to be a price taker here at 2.24, 2.22, around that mark, please, Robbie. The Real Whacker to finish in the first 3.
Yep, sure thing, Matt.
The Real Whacker is a horse you've got some history with, Barry. I remember when you did your first each way double on the show, we had the winner of the St Simon Stakes, or whatever it was, at Newbury on the flat, and then it was charged with this chap, wasn't it, who made his return, of course, over hurdles. He was 14-1 that day, never went a yard. He's a very interesting horse because he's lightly raced, and yet they come back to Cheltenham, didn't they? And they obviously like this one a great deal.
Well, they sent him straight over fences, Dan. Like, they didn't muck around with him. He's very few miles on the clock. Like, he's only had 5 races, only 4 races on the track. But I know they think a lot of him, and obviously, I don't know a lot about the trainer, Patrick Neville. I think he was assistant to Anne Duffield, and he's based in Yorkshire now. Anne Duffield used to have the horse. Patrick Neville trained it when it won a point, when it ran the Maiden Hurdle over here in the Stowe. But I think he's based in Yorkshire now and has his licence there.
Yeah, Patrick Neville used to train in his own right, then went off the radar a bit, was based, you're right, at Anne Duffield's. All of a sudden you saw Anne Duffield winning the Swinton and things like that, and it was down to Patrick doing it there, really.
With the ex-William Mullins horse.
Whose name is Ngolo?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good year for me.
You're ready.
I'm on fire. I'm telling you, I'm on fire. But he is a very interesting horse, and in fact, it's only 10-1, the outsider, in a Grade 2 novice chase is interesting. I'm going to get this out of the way, guys. On the preview shows that we did during the week, I was sticking up Thunder Rock because he was a price for Ollie Murphy and the McNeil family with Adrian Heskin on the 7-year-old. 7-year-old's got a good record in this race. But then Montmorel this morning, and I'll come to you with this, Barry, it looked like he was going to be one of the day's drifters, didn't it? If you think the Brave Man's Game was won on television recently, and if you think that Hermes Allen in these exact colours had won yesterday, I was expecting him to be around the even money mark. That would have put me off for a horse that hasn't won for a while. But when he went to second favourite, I had to switch.
Yeah, I suppose it is a price thing. He's 288 now, so he's hardening all the time. Obviously, he was put to the sword well and truly by John Baum, but there's probably no shame in that defeat. He's not in deeper waters here, it has to be said. But yeah, since that win in Aintree, it hasn't really gone to plan. He's had his issues. I don't know. I'd prefer to see him go and do it first now before backing him at that price. Was
Paul slightly lukewarm on him when you had your ditch sheet chat?
No, he's always so positive, Paul. He was happy with his debut over fences. Obviously, the way he jumped and that, he says in his piece that the race, ideal choice for Montmorel with the softer ground and the step up to 2.5 miles is very much in his favour. So, yeah, he's quite keen on him.
All right, okay, well, that's what I wanted to do. I adored this chap as a 4-year-old. I think I put him up as my, I thought this was the next best thing. I was lucky enough that Barry and the Betfair team sent me down to do a pre-festival thing that year with Paul. He said, we're not going to run him in the trial, we'll go to Aintree. Do I send him over fences next year or not? And I said, well, he's got to be next year's Arkle horse, right? And actually, he was talking then about the Turners, so this step up in trip could be exactly what he wants. He had that in-between year after knocking himself in the Fighting Fifth, of course, you remember. But I like him a lot. You're with your mate's horse, though, of course.
Yeah, I was expecting Montmorel to be a strong favourite, and I was going to go with Thunder Rock at the prices. I mean, he's been a very, very progressive horse throughout the last 2 seasons. He's taken the jumping fences seriously well, and I thought he was very good the last day at Ascot beating Solar.
Yeah. And he looked really good.
He's kind of in a slightly different profile than Montmorel, as in Montmorel's a Grade 1 winning juvenile, and he has that sort of sexy profile, whereas Thunder Rock has sort of worked his way up through the handicap ranks. But I think he's potentially a really good horse. Ollie last season had plenty of winners, but they were looking for proper Saturday flagship horses.
He's got them this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he has definitely, and this lad is one of that brigade, and he's well worth his place in this sort of company, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely the one to aim at for me, Rob. How did you approach the
dipper? I like the guys, I'm pretty surprised that Montmorel isn't favourite, to be honest. He might still go off favourite, actually. But, I thought he's definitely the one to beat on that run behind John Bon. And it'd be sort of disappointing if he didn't win this, I think, because we're all hoping that he'd develop into a potential superstar.
You've been looking to take on John Bond, haven't you? You're one of our... I'm sort of smiling because we have a bit of banter, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I really
in the
want
office.
Mighty Potter to run in the Arkle. I'd quite like to see that.
Well, is that...
I think he's got plenty.
Is that beyond the realms of possibility after Fedor flopped? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Phil Daw would have won that, though, if he
flopped,
didn't.
it
He
was
didn't make a terrible mistake at the third loss.
Yeah, he's not an Arkle winner, though.
Dysart Dynamo was very good the other day.
Yes, didn't he look good? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what did you make of that, Barry?
Dysart Dynamo, yeah, I thought he jumped adequately. He won well. He got a soft enough lead, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently at the time, me and Rodders talking about this, apparently at the time was terrible in that race as well. I mean, he's won it easily.
People will be checking the trends now. Forgive me if I'm wrong, guys. You can look at the previous winners on your Post website of Dysart's win over Chris. He wouldn't be putting his worldies in there, I don't think. They've usually had a run over fences by now. There's an interesting one running later on at Ferias in there. James, what's his name? The Munir horse. I'll get it in a minute. And you'll all tell me what it is. I'm sure you're all screaming at the telly. I'll find it. But this is the horse that Paul Keeley...
James de Burle.
James de Burle.
James.
James, as in James Rodriguez. Yes, him. They thought this is the chap they ran in the Champion Hurdle that year, wasn't it? And they thought he would be really, really good over fences.
And then they ran him in the Stayers Hurdle at Punchtown.
He then had a bit of a layoff, unfortunately, but they've always thought the absolute world of this chap. So interesting horses running everywhere today, and we'll keep an eye on everything for you. So here are the tips then. You've heard them. Thunder Rock. Who did you go for, Montmorel?
Yeah, Montmorel. Yeah. I'm hoping that I'd like to think he's a slight level above Thunder Rock for all he's very progressive. But Montmorel's not really shown his hand over fences yet, and indeed over 2.5 miles. So.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Juveniles that are expected to go over fences these days. Defi Desoy would be one that springs to mind, but Fakadu Dairies, of course, was another one. But there aren't that many because most would come from the flat, obviously, don't they? So
yeah,
I don't see like Frodon did it, didn't he? And he's ended up having a very long,
he was
successful
running
career.
in like December Gold Cups as a 4-year-old, wasn't he? Absolutely,
it should be done, man.
Fedor.
This is something that needs to be. We need to bear this in mind. I've not seen anyone else pick up on this, but Noble Yates won the Grand National about 18 months after winning the bumper. Just goes to show that let's get on with it.
Right.
Like, let's get these horses.
That's another resolution for you.
It's quite interesting though, isn't it?
We knew your list of
that just shows how
resolutions would go
quickly
off the charts.
Horses can progress.
You mean just what?
Like a season over. I always think a season in bumpers is a wasted season, really.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you're a slightly older, 5 or 6.
That could be one of your wishes for 2023. Cut down the bumpers. You've been banging that drum for a little while.
For sure. Yeah.
Keeley can't stand them either. Of course, Tom Siegel and Paul Keeley have been tipping on this biggest of jumping days for us. As we kick off 2023 here on Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. There are the tips on the screen. There is the exchange, the real market. You can see it fluctuating as it goes. With 2 races down, guys, at Cheltenham thus far. We've all been caught. I think one of the best named horses in training.
Just tell me one more time. Shut the door, Sam. Shut the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
You must have some decent puns.
Go on, throw me under a bus.
His pocket was talking. They came to the last, and he wanted Sam to shut the door on the rail because whoever was chasing him home was looking like they were going to get in the pocket there. And
I thought he was going to let the other horse up the rail.
Even when they're bang upside, he's going, "Shut the door, Sam! Shut the door."
Not as bad as Rodders. I was watching a race with him, and he was on going to the last flight. He backed the horse. It was like 10 next second. He was just shouting, "Full!"
No, that's a low one. That is a low one. The measure of Rodway.
I completely stitched him up there, but
you have.
I couldn't stop laughing. He was just like, "Full!"
We've all been caught then. There has been 5 mil of rain yesterday at Cheltenham. That's the first thing we should say. It's the softest ground we had at Newbury, wasn't it, yesterday, in the Mandarin Chase and the Challow, of course. And it's the softest ground, finally, we've had at Cheltenham. Alan King, our columnist in the Weekender, when everyone was having a pop at him about Ascot on the ground, he said, don't forget that in 1976, which last year, keep reminding ourselves that year is now gone, was always compared with 76. I remember that because I'm a 76 baby. And everyone was saying, you were born in one of the worst droughts ever and all that sort of stuff. And not a lot of drops around when I came.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it was a hideous drought. And we compared last year a lot with 1976, as a society, never mind just in racing. Right. But Kingy reminded us that he didn't actually race in 76 until the following year's January. So he was saying, we can do nothing about this. No one is to blame. They actually didn't have the October, November or December meeting at Cheltenham.
Global warming, more of the same. next few years. I think.
You're
mate. Sorry to
a
say,
young
but
and a
let's
vegan.
let's not get political. But
No, especially not wearing that top.
No. Yeah.
what's that supposed to mean? You were saying it was unreal earlier.
It's almost like you
Off
should
the
be
air.
on. I don't know, Joe Lycett or whoever's got no spots on you, is he, in that shirt? I don't think. But anyway, we digress.
I prefer Charlie Sheen. It's more something Charlie Sheen will wear, I think.
And the second horse could be named after you, rapper Henry Daly. That is a big double.
Tenuous.
That is a big double for
rap.
Henry Daly.
It was
Absolutely hosed up
It
as
was
well, didn't he?
impressive, yeah. Scooted home.
That was both the races, guys. This is where I'm going with this. We're
Time.
20
We're off.
seconds slower.
They
We're
jumped
off.
the first there, lads.
We're off in the dipper then, Barry. We're having a
million
good chat
miles
there.
away, aren't we?
And I'll tell you what, Barry's very, very concentrated on this because the real whacker is attempting what he tried to do at the course last time by leading all the way. He's got loads of scope about him, Johnny, hasn't he, this one?
He has, yeah. Yeah, he definitely jumped the first or jumped the second there. Lovely.
He's back in trip as well, so they want to
Yeah.
be good and positive on him.
Thunder Rock just made a slight mistake there.
You got the right jockey on as well, Barry. On
Yeah,
the
he
real
hasn't
whacker.
jumped the first couple well at all, Thunder Rock.
He's been a bit sketchy at the back, has he? 7-year-olds have got a really good record in this. Monmoral is a 5-year-old. Only 2 have tried, guys, in the last 10 years. I don't know how many would be rated as high as him. 1 place and one Oxo Cube, basically. But looking for the others, Beauport was really disappointing, I think, to some people last time at Haydock, where he looked like he found a wonderful opportunity. Will it be soft enough for him? If he's involved in the finish, I think we can gauge that there's been plenty of juice underfoot at Cheltenham. And then, of course, looking for the other one, who have we got there? It is, of course, going
Harper's
down.
Brook.
Oh, yeah, Harper's Brook.
yeah.
For Ben Pauling, who is having a right old season, isn't he?
Yeah, he's having a fantastic time of it. I mean, this horse, again, a really good jumper, strong stayer. 2.5, it could just be fraction on the sharp side for him. Real whacker, a thing that could be in his favour is that this race obviously run the new course, and I'm pretty sure his Chase debut win was on the old course, which is the sharper
was
of
on
the two
the old
tracks.
course, yeah.
So you've got half a mile shorter here, but a much more stamina-inducing track.
Yes, it is, because they press the button, don't they, a little bit further out, and you really want to be getting home here. All right, so he is leading, and he's not being taken on either, Barry. What's that done to his price in the market, I wonder?
Hasn't contracted significantly. He's Azir's brick jumping that one in the straight. He's
Lovely,
8.2 now from a Betfair SB at 13, but Monmoral into 5-4 is travelling sweetly and has pinged every fence so far. There he is, last one into stands. Yeah, he's jumped that well too.
nice.
Yeah, Thunder Rock out to 4.
He
Knuckled
has
again
been
there.
sketching, isn't he?
Yeah, he just looks a bit straight through his back, and he brushed through the top of the fence and sort of like just struggled to get his front foot out, like sort of half knuckled. The horse in front's got a fantastic way of going, like ears pricked, really loving his job, like picking the fences up early and seeing his strides from a long way out.
He's a very, very prolific horse, though, Thunder Rock, isn't he? How are you feeling about Monmoral, Rob? You're on.
Yeah, he's been jumping nice, isn't he? You can't really ask for much more for a second run over fences, can you?
I'd be
I
slightly
think they
worried.
all are, apart from Thunder Rock, really.
I'd be slightly worried that if you're on Morale, that this chap in front's getting a lovely lead at the moment. I mean, there are what?
Nah, he's within a length and a half of him, isn't he? 2 lengths of Monmoral, I think.
He's not been taken on though, Barry.
Harry's alive to his. Harry's alive to it though.
We saw it with Tifa Free in the last race at Newbury yesterday under Lily Pinchin. Easy lead, nice rhythm, and I don't know, they can.
We
they
did,
can
but
kick
Paul,
when they
but
want.
in Monmoral, he's not going to puck him out and make the running on Monmoral. So like he's going to ride his own race, and he just follow him through, isn't he? Riding him like a good horse.
I tell you what, if I'm in running now, I'm definitely having a saver on the one in front, and I think Harper's Brook might be the other danger as well. He looks like he's got loads of running underneath. He's constantly trying to pull him back, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's travelling strong at the moment. But the horse in front is saving all the time because he keeps winging fences.
He's into 2-1, the horse in front.
I'm
This is what I'm
surprised.
saying. This is
Jumping superb.
I'm not
Favoured
surprised.
in running.
Okay,
7-4 favourite
and he's
in
just
running.
taken 6 lengths out, and this is basically what Sam Twiston-Davies is doing.
Yes.
In running, it'll be interesting to see how Monmoral comes up the hill. Never looks like he finds much, says Hugh Masson.
He's gone favourite now, Monmoral.
Okay, because they're just starting to wind up now. Harry Cobden is thinking, right, I don't want to go out. Is this 5 out, guys?
Is it? Yes, it is 5 out. Yeah.
Whopping jump
He's
there.
such a superb jumper,
I'll
isn't
tell
he?
you what, and he what, this chap in front?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whacker then in the dipper.
He had a little stumble there.
Who's getting excited?
Oh, yeah.
Thunder Rock has cracked, guys. I think this is one run
Yeah.
too many for him. He's probably going to be having a break and seeing him in the spring, unless he can find another 10th
Up you
gear, I
go.
think. Here we go, and in 4 out. And Monmoral wasn't great there, guys. You guessed
Beauport
at
missed
it.
out as well.
Beauport hit
missed out.
it.
Thunder Rock's
Harper's
in big
Brook has
trouble.
not gone for everything yet, Luca Morgan, but what's under there? He's got about 10 lengths to find. It looks like a two-way duel, Rob.
Yeah, Thunder Rock complete out of it. Well, I went well at the Pauling horse as well.
3 out, then we're coming to Poste. We need a worldie here.
well, you want to meet it on a good
Let's
shot,
see what Mama
and he
Ralph-
does.
He's
Yeah,
flown it,
yeah.
the real whacker, and he's
Real
yet.
Whacker's favourite at 177.
Oh, here he goes, Barry. Oh, could he be starting off the year? He's got Dave Orton chasing him on Montmorel. Harper's Brook not totally out of it. If anything, Harper's Brook is probably just got a little bit too much to find. But Sam Twist and Davis could be on a double already, guys. Now Montmorel opens up. Will he stay? That's the question.
He needs to wing this. He needs to
Love
wing
the
this.
tactics on the real whacker. Look, he's hanging a little bit, the real whacker. That suggests he's got
Oh, it's
plenty
gonna
more
be
to
close.
come. They're having a good look. This second
Thunder
rock
Rock
can change
staying on.
everything.
Thunder Rock
Up he
staying
goes,
on.
real whacker.
Where's Thunder
Again,
Rock come
Montmorel
from?
very good there as well. Thunder Rock has got a second win. Wow, where's he come from? But the real whacker, 4 lengths up then. Close your eyes. He's going short, guys. He just needs this. And then Sam will boot him home. And he's over.
He's over it.
Montmorel, second again by the looks of it. Could even be good for that. This is hats off. The big hitter starts 2023 in absolute style. The real whacker. And he absolutely loves Cheltenham. The rag of the lot. Straight over to you, Barry Orr. Compose yourself, man.
Move. Betfair SP at 13.9. Like you say, the outsider of the field, but he jumped from fence to fence. It's what he did there last day, although over 3 miles. But Sam's got a great tune out of him. Be interesting to see. We have to quote him for all those big races now. He'd be definitely one for the Brown Advisory, I would imagine. Montmorel traded low of 1.71, would you believe? And the staying on again, Thunder Rock, that traded low at 2.38, but that was pre-race. He had a funny sort of run, Thunder Rock. But take nothing away from the winner. It's only his 5th run, only his 2nd start over fences. He's gone out and made all again for a 2nd time. First on the old course and now on the new course. So he's a really, really smart prospect without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, yeah, he's a big old boy with some scope. And I'll tell you what, I told you after 3 fences he was probably going to win. And you tried to shut me down there. I know you don't like it when I do that in running.
Now, usually you're a magpie when you start all that.
He once called me the worst in running judge out there, which I think is very, very harsh. Hugh Masson might have called that in running, of course. I was lovely in running. Let's get some in running socials up. I like that.
I was a bit disappointed. Montmorel didn't find much.
He didn't have that extra gear. I don't know. It looks like a 2-2 horse, doesn't he? You know what I mean? He's kind of like he's a bit.
Well, he looks a bit trickless, doesn't he? You know, as in,
bit.
like he doesn't find much of pressure. He's sort of, and he jumped well. He didn't have any excuses anyway.
No. Loads of people in the chat were
Best
with that.
horse run, yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, without question. He's very lightly raced as well, isn't he? And Patrick Neville has got one. What I like about this horse, Barry, is keep going back to Cheltenham with him. They're dreaming big. They know what they've got.
Yeah, they are. And obviously your man's well able to train horses. He knows what he has there as well. By Mahler, all they do is stay, isn't it? So, yeah, just waiting to see what we're quoting him for here.
Yeah, so I think he's got number 1 fan in Barry, and Barry's got plenty of fans out there as well. Andy Sim, welcome back, Andy. What a way to finish the show for Andy yesterday on full time. Well done, Barry. Tom Lee, cheers, Barry. Had a saver in running, got 10-1. I think you need to say that to me because I suggested you should be doing that on that price. So I think if you were to wind it back, I picked that up in running.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, to give you credit where it's due. But I mean,
when these front runners in these chases when they get into a rhythm and they're not pestered, ratings go out of the air slightly sometimes. You know. Yeah,
he jumps for fun, doesn't he?
Oh. And he's a lovely way of going about it.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he absolutely relishes it. Like he's picking the fences up 10, 15 strides before and sort of accelerates.
He his ears coming to the line as well.
Yeah.
Be very interested to see what Betfair go for the Brown Advisory after that.
I'm looking down to see what horses Patrick Neville has had before, and if you know you're racing, and that's not being disparaging to some of you out there, but if you know you're racing, some of them you'll recognise. Like Rob might not recognise some of them. Like Wrightville Boy, you won a couple of races for him. Rock Shandy was a pretty good horse for him.
What years are we going back to?
Good question. Macville was a good horse for him. That was 2010 we're talking.
Just
that was a
ever so
grade 3
slightly
winner he
before my
had.
time.
Just there you are, you see. So Patrick Neville is a name that not everyone knows. On the tip of your tongues now.
Thunder Rock, a strange race, wasn't it? He never really
Weird.
found rhythm. He jumped ponderously,
But then yet showed the engine was there.
Yeah.
So they should be buoyed by that because.
No, they won't be.
Why not?
What's I think they came in with a favourite in a grade 2.
No. Because
No?
you're no. Look, we're talking about Max McNeil, who's one of the most positive people out there, but and the owners as well. But if you've got now 7-year-old rated 150, right, and you can't win a dipper. All right, around Cheltenham.
Ultima.
But you're staying. And who sponsors the Ultima? Max McNeil.
I don't think he's winning an Ultima off mark that high. Myself.
Yeah, I'd worry that's a bit high.
It has got it's become a
think
much
he'd be
better
better
race.
off.
You couldn't win before Ben Solomon. Do you remember him? Alan King's horse. He was the one that bust all the stats with that, and ever since 150 horses.
What does handicapper do with this though?
I think
Good question. He'd probably Good question. That is a really good
He's
question.
better off going for races like Grade 2s over 3 miles, I think. Like the Ascot race before, the one that does he know one.
Good
races
shit.
like that.
The Reynoldstown.
Yeah,
The Reynoldstown, that's it.
the real whack has given Thunder Rock
Like that,
£3, and he's rated 139.
Yeah, so
And Thunder Rock's rated 150. So
you probably
who's run
rate
to
it
form?
around Monmoral, do you? He's probably run.
These sound a bit big. They've gone 25 for the Brown Advisory and 33 for the Turners.
Well, bearing in
Yeah.
mind, I think Brown Advisory, you said initially looked like a
think
Brown
25.
Advisory horse, and
I
I
think
questioned that in
25's
my mind, Barry.
pretty big.
But I think the
I
way
think it's
he's
big. I think 25 is big. I'd rather be backing him than laying him at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't hang around.
The Dipper has had a great record at producing Cheltenham Festival winners. Have we seen one there? Are you going to have a little bit on for the Brown Advisory or the Turners? I would go Brown Advisory with him, looking at that. He definitely went out knowing they had a horse that stayed further.
It's not as if like he won it very impressive. I mean, he didn't. Lon Presto was impressive last year. It wasn't that much more impressive than the real Wacker.
Yeah, that was
Brown
and he's beaten the
Advisory's-
right horses.
Brown
He's beaten
Advisory's-
Thunder Rock and he's beaten Monmoral.
Brown Advisory's new track as well, which obviously just won on there.
Which is
I think that 25s is big. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether he's a horse that have to lead. If you remember in the handicap hurdle when they came back, they definitely set out to come from the back. He never went a yard in there. And look, could this be it, Barry? 2023.
Wow.
The fingers are crossed.
Wow.
We're off to a perler. The multi could be on the move.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? It's a nice one to kick off a winner with mind. I don't know what his SP was, but he's obviously 8 or 10 to 1, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, on the back of your chatting, I think he came in, and again, that in running, all of a sudden he was 9s, and then I looked down and he's into even money, and you're thinking, yeah, they knew.
We
But-
were on him at.
Well,
I just checked my bets here. We were on him at 11.
Lovely. That'll do then. Happy days. The
Bag
multi's on the
11.
move, guys. 2023 is off and it's alive. Great to have you with us. Myself, Dave Orton, Charlie Post, Robbie Wilders and Barry Orr here with you till just after 3 o'clock when we finish on a beautiful staying handicap at Cheltenham. We've got to go up to Musselburgh, guys. And I think one of the bets of the day runs in the 135. I'll let Barry Orr take the floor, though, of course, before I tell you.
Manila Drama, your favourite at 3.65. It's 4 paid a piper. Cooper's Cross 4.8, and it's 9.8. It's 9.2 bar them. I like Cooper's Cross in it. Coulthard's course. He won in Carlisle in October. He beat Crow Patrick 7.5 length. Then he was third to Brave Seska at Aintree. He made a bad mistake 3 out there to kind of put paid to his chances. I'm not saying he would have beaten the winner, but he would have been getting involved. I think he's on an upward curve, but he needs to be because this is a career high mark of 128 for the 8-year-old. So he's currently, 4.4. We're going to just back him in the win only, please. We're going to have 25 quid, just win only. Happy to be a price taker here at 4.3, Robbie.
Yep, sure.
You were a magpie. You've become a rabbit's foot or something like that, haven't you? Well, who knew?
You're the magpie.
Hang on a minute. I'm not the magpie.
alluding
I'm
to?
not having that. I told you in running, I increased your chances in running. I mean, again, it must be a new year. It must be a new year. You're wearing mint green. Poste's been out till 3:30 and he's still here with his usual steely self.
So
this
Bob,
is going to be
mate,
our
so's
year.
Bob.
People, I'm telling you, I feel good about it. Not long until we go to Tramore, guys, as well. So you'll be delighted to hear, Barry. I think you're on the bet of the day. I think it runs at Musselburgh, and I think it's Cooper's Cross in the 135. We covered this chap when he ran. He was desperately unlucky not to go close on his last start.
Yeah, that mistake killed him 3 out, didn't it?
And he was still trying to come back
Really?
on the rail, and they shut the door on him a bit, if you remember it.
Brave Seska's a good horse, isn't he?
Yes,
later on today.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He's the top weight in the next race at Cheltenham when I think the next best runs today. I've got a good feeling about today. I've got a good old feeling. I've got a spring in my old step, let me tell you. Absolutely. Not a Watford game in sight, thankfully. All right, okay, so Musselburgh then, 135. You're on this, Rob, as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I like Cooper's, as we touched upon. That was a good race at Aintree, wasn't it? That was probably a better race certainly a better race than this, wasn't it, really?
Well, he's getting a lot of weight
He's still
from Manolo
pretty
Drama, who's a class act Manolo Drama in this realm.
Yeah, he is, but I don't know if he's really well handicapped. He doesn't stand out as being well handicapped off 145 to me. But I think Cooper's Cross got a lot in his favour. He's come back with two career best efforts. He stays a little bit further. That's not going to hurt in the conditions as well.
Watch back in your members club that replay of Aintree. You've got time, guys. And he was cruising in. He was gone right at the back. Nat Green napped him. I remember that day. Would that have been Grand Sefton Day? It probably was. He walked through the third last, and she was like,
Yeah,
it's gone,
she
it's
likes
gone.
that horse, didn't she?
Yeah, and then it kept coming back and it kept coming back, and I said, wherever it runs next, I will be with it. They've given it a nice break since there. Sam Coulthard, Stuart Coulthard, he's a good horse, this, and he's got some very, very good form. Another Drama, of course, brings Hitman form to the party. Who do you like?
Pay the Piper, for me. Yeah, he didn't jump that great the last day at Kelso, but ran well behind Dreams of Home. And he's a well-treated horse at the moment, I think. I think he's sort of form behind Kilty Briggs and Midnight River last year. Midnight River strongly fancied again for the next.
You're going to hear a lot.
Cheltenham.
You're going to hear a lot from me about.
Oh,
that
really?
horse in there.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Am I giving the game away?
Well, a little bit.
And so they're off and racing.
All right, okay. We're north of the border then. It's Musselburgh. Barry, just come to you quickly. Manila Drama held his place at the top of the market.
Yeah, 3.35, and it's jumped off in front here. 4.1 Pay the Piper, 3.7 Cooper's Cross.
No surprise to see Manila Drama out in front under Brian Hughes. Could be a big day for Brian. You fancy one of the next. We're not showing the 210, but we're going to talk about it, aren't we? We've got a bit of an insight into that race coming up. He's playing it very poker face there, but let me tell you, he fancies Brian's ride in the next. And Pay the Piper soared over that one. One that didn't was Cedar Hill. Ray Green's got a couple of runners up there today. Nat's there for ITV as well. And I'll tell you what, Gold de Bois, who had a good start to the season. He looked a little bit ponderous over the first couple to my eye as well. We've got Ante for Lucinda Russell, the queen of Scottish racing. That's in the back as well. And we sit very nicely, Robbie, just in midfield.
Yeah, very much so. No complaints for that Posse at the moment.
All right, okay, happy days. Just keeping it nice and simple, Rob. I like it very much.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, so let's go to Barry then. Again, Brian Hughes, favourite, front runner, getting into a rhythm. Has the exchange reacted?
Yeah, he's still 2-1, 3.10, 3.7 Pay the Piper, 4 Cooper's Cross. I thought he was a little bit sticky over a few of them Cooper's Cross. 9.4 half shot. Mark it with the one in front.
Let me give you some of that luck in running and tell you he's absolutely fine. Let's put a bit of in-running shine on this bad boy. He's going all right at the moment, and we know he can finish off his races as well. But Brian's just opened up a little bit, hasn't he, on this chap?
Yeah, I mean, he's setting just a reasonable gallop in front, hasn't he? Again, he's jumped pretty well early doors, Manila Drama, and I'd say Brian Hughes is quite happy with the way the cards have fallen so far because he's got a nice uncontested lead as they turn into the straight first time.
Interesting horse in second, Half Shot, who I liked as a hurdler. And I sort of jumped off the bandwagon. Then he's won his next couple.
Mixing it up over hurdles and fences.
Exactly. He's a talented horse. Whether this might be just a bridge too far, but he jumped that one really, really nicely in second. Pay the Piper on the outside for the Hamiltons. Everyone loves the Hamiltons, of course. Tommy's Oscar Brigade. He's coming back into form. And Poste says thinks he will be the one. So this will be the last next time round, I think. Just Ante looking a little bit weird with his antics.
Jumping out to his left, isn't he, a bit, which again isn't ideally suited to this sharp right-handed circuit.
No, it's of course it's the McGladdery colours, isn't it, for Ante? We see these up in Scotland so much. Strong patronage. Will he be winning this? I'm not so sure. Is that an ex-Mullins horse, Ante? Sounds like
it was. He used to be Rich Ritchie.
That's it. He's a 10-year-old now, isn't he? He used to be Patrick Griffin, actually, as well. Okay, so Cooper's Cross, again, maybe needs to have a better cut at his fences, but we know he's a strong finisher. That's what we want. How easy is it to finish at Musselburgh from off the pace?
How easy is it to finish at Musselburgh from off the pace?
We talked about Musselburgh a lot as being one of the sharpest tracks. Batch says it's the sharpest track he ever rode at.
Yeah, I think that's a fair shout, as in,
and more than Fakenham?
Potentially, yeah. Wow. I think potentially, yeah.
All right, sharpest tracks out there then. This is one of them, and they go on the all-weather onto the far side. Let's go back to Barry and check where Manila Drama is in the market right now.
Pay the Piper's gone favourite in running at 2.9, 3.1 Manila Drama, 6.4 now Cooper's Cross.
All right,
Market's not liking that. A half shot, 11.5.
I think that's a slight overreaction at the moment. Okay, one of the green horses is going well. You watch your caps here. It's Cedar Hill then on the inside. Again, handicapped to go well, Sandy Thompson's horse. And Derek Fox is on the inside. He's got him in really good rhythm, perhaps unsurprisingly.
Gold de Bras been a bit keen, to be honest, following him through the stable.
He's got no
he's been a bit sticky as well, hasn't he? You don't think so?
He's got no chance of getting over 2 mile 4 on soft, I'd say.
No.
All right, okay. So when do they really start going for it? Just at the top of the home straight, do you think?
Now.
Yeah, I think he'll look to start lengthening now. I mean, it probably is one of those tracks where you can be sucked into getting racing too soon. There's a long sweeping, it's just bend into the home straight, and so Brian Hughes will always be hoping nothing comes to him early enough and he can keep stacking them up before he presses the button.
All right, then, first of 3 races from Musselburgh today, well underway at the moment. The 2 market leaders are there. Half-shot tracks in third, then as we go into this famous home turn, sweeping home turn at Musselburgh. And this is why I'm always a little bit put off when people say it's the sharpest track, because they really get racing here and it can definitely take some out of the comfort zone.
But how often is that the case on these sort of sharper speed tracks, that they end up
still
getting
half a
races
mile to
early?
race, haven't
Yeah,
they?
exactly, yeah,
All right.
exactly.
It's a right old bend, isn't it, Rob? It goes all the way in, doesn't it? You see it on the flat
Then
there
it
as
cuts
well.
back very sharply now,
Yeah.
and you can often see a horse slip a little bit, lose its footing.
It's a nice racing surface
There you
up
go,
there,
yeah.
despite the fact it's soft.
There
And
we go.
Cooper's Cross,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
we're levelling up. This
Like
is
to
what
see him
Sam
get a bit closer
Coulthard would
now.
have wanted. He would have only wanted to be about 2 off them, and now he's launching
Challenging
down the
widest
outside.
of all.
Okay, yes, and that's what we like to see. This is the finisher in the race, guys, and here
Big
he
chance,
comes.
big
Half shot,
chance.
though, still in third. Manila Drama still just about holding sway. Over to third last we go. Cooper's Cross starting to challenge. Will he pick him up? Pay the Pipers there as well. Brian on the inside, maybe just throwing some distress signals out on the favourite. Cooper's Cross 2 out, then here we come. And yeah, he's still got a couple of lengths to
Good
find,
ride
hasn't he?
this
I'll
on
tell
the
you
favourite-
what,
on the
Manila
Melodrama.
Drama's saved plenty,
Yeah.
hasn't he? Here he comes. How much has he got left? There's loads of weight between them. Half track trying to come back, half shot trying to come
Needs
back
a
as
big
well.
one,
This
needs a
is
big
2
one.
out. We need a good jump. We might be second here, lads. Looks like the class angle's paying off. This is Hitman form on the show. We've got one more to come. I don't think he can quite get there, can he? Hang on a sec. Oh, we nearly. Oh, I'll tell you what, Cooper's Cross nearly got rid of the jockey
Yeah.
there, as you probably heard from Barry, just quickly, slightly ahead of us. And Manila Drama, this is a make all. In the first race of 3 coming your way today, then on Racing Post Live, Brian Hughes, the class angle, 12 stone, didn't stop him. We clung on to second somehow, but we ran up a little bit short, Barry. We've had a win and a second. I still think we're going through the card.
He's given that a great ride, Brian Hughes. It has to be said. He really, truly has given that a great ride. He knew what he had under the bonnet when he went for it as well. He stacked them all up behind, and he dictated the pace. He did everything at his own, at his leisure. But yeah, he's a winning favourite, 3.54, so just 5-2. Cooper's Cross, lucky to stay in the plate. Sam Coulthard at the last Betfair SP of 4.2. Didn't really trade that short and running. Hit a low at 2.12. Odds against 11-10, but yeah, kudos to Brian Hughes there.
Yeah, I fancied our chances, didn't you, when on Cooper's Cross when he came up to that third last, Robbie?
Yeah, he probably didn't jump quite well enough overall, did he? I mean, that would have cost him, but I don't think he would have beat Manila Drama if he jumped better.
He's a grade 2 novice winner, Manila Drama, isn't he? He's got some good form. And you just look at his last couple of runs behind Beauport, of course, at Carlisle, where he was kind of just close to his mark, expected to need it. A lot of people fancied him against Hitman at ADOT last time in that introductory race, and he intermediate race, and he ran extremely well, didn't he?
Hitman was a bit disappointing at Kempton, wasn't he?
Never really went, did he? I just think he's a horse that needs to lead it, man. That's how I said it. And
Wrong sort of race, not the race for him.
Just a bit like Chandrial's in the race last year, wasn't it? Just, oh, I hate this experience. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't going. You guys fancied him, didn't you?
Yeah,
at
we
Price?
did. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was in the hope that it would be a normal King George and it would cut right up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, no one's expecting Lompresso to run.
What did you make of Braveman's game, Rob? We haven't had
Really
chat
good.
about
Yeah,
it.
really good performance. But I think he should run in the Ryanair rather than the Gold Cup.
Yeah, give us a chat about it. He probably won't. We were saying this on the chat.
I put him up in the postman thinking that he might win. He might go close to the King George and then step back down in trip. But I wouldn't be so sure that he's going to get another 2.5 furlongs at Cheltenham.
It's not been a bad Christmas for the postman, has it? Because this was actually when you sprang to prominence last year.
It was, yeah.
You took the job in the tipping department.
Paddy Power.
And Schoolboy Hours was your first big winner, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the one to get the monkey off the back. Yeah, on a nice
But you had one
28.
over-
It's about home by the leaf for the
Yes.
stayers hurdle. Yeah, I think he's still. I couldn't believe he was 7-1 the other day. In that, a lot of people are underestimating that the Smullen hurdle.
Well, you got a bit of tomatoes thrown at you, didn't you, for suggesting he might win the Stayers Hurdle when he won at Navan?
Yeah, I mean that was like a freakish performance, wasn't it? Like he was obviously going to be better going back up to 3 miles again, pretty unexposed. I just think he's just a rapidly improving horse, and he was only beaten about 6 lengths in it last year.
What I like about him is he can sort of do that Paisley Park and look a little bit like he's in trouble and then finish off strong.
He does have that style of racing, which is absolutely.
Go on, Barry.
He traded at 1,000 in Navan that day in the league.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's got that style that really plays to his kind of strengths of 3 miles at Cheltenham. Like he's going to love it. I think. I think 6-1 is a decent price. Still.
And Tom Seagill's on this as well, isn't he?
Is he?
He's had a few on it. Yeah.
Didn't know. Nice.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't worry about that.
He's been looking over the shoulder, I think, probably. That's just all right, okay, let's have a look. Tom Leach comes back on and says, Brave Man goal for the Gold Cup is kind of ridiculous. Won't be beating half the field, in my opinion. I know we chatted about this yesterday, didn't we, Tom? And he looks like a slightly different horse now, to my eye.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure he's a Gold Cup winner, but I think there's plenty of it in a Gold Cup field he would beat.
There'll be, and again, it'll be fascinating to see in half an hour's time what Statler can do. Because while Manella Indo, this is kind of maybe it's his Gold Cup a little bit already.
I guess Brave Man's game, the way he jumps is going to give him a chance, isn't it?
Yes.
He's a brilliant jumper.
I've never seen him make a mistake.
He's a beautiful jumper.
Yeah.
Do you see it out in a Gold Cup though? 3.25 miles.
Prominent racer. Depends on the ground. Because we have had some, have had some deluges, of course, at Cheltenham Week recently, haven't we? So in recent years, so I don't know. It's a tough one, but I think if you're a fan of the horse, you've got to like the fact that they've got one eye on one prize probably. And I've written him up as well in the big jump off for the Ryanair.
Have you?
Yeah, because I just thought that may be where he might fall. I didn't. I was a little bit surprised by him in the Charlie Hall. I was surprised he went to the Charlie Hall, actually.
Yeah.
Because that could be a bit of a gruelling race.
I mean, Nichols doesn't Nichols not regret declaring him for the Turners last year because soft ground over 2.5 is fine for him. Soft ground over 3. I suppose it was soft to Kempton, but he's a bit older now.
He's not a slow horse, that's for sure.
It's a flat track.
But it is. What I would say about him, if you've been with him and successfully with him, and I kind of have, and I was with the loss as well at Aintree, where he's cruised in and they said his excuse and they let him down, then put him back up, and it was all a bit of a mess, wasn't it? But is he a spring horse? That's the question he now needs to answer, because he's definitely a deep winter horse, and we do see that throughout the years, don't we? But if you're with him, stick with him, I think, and he's a nice prize. And look, this is Paul Nicholls. He's won loads of Gold
No
Cups.
reason not to be still with him, have you? I mean, you can't have done any more.
You just kind of block out the noise.
Yeah.
If you're with Brave Man's game, you know.
Yeah.
And just see the ball big.
Who's rushing to take like 7-4 about Gallopin Champs as well?
Well, listen, that's the thing. We also had that chat as well. Is that a silly price? But then it's that man Mullins, isn't it?
He's a great horse, but.
Yeah, well, he is an absolute freak. Are we going to see a freak in the upcoming race? An absolute belter of a handicap coming up in the 155. My best hope of the day has just finished second, but I'm hoping to go one better here. I'm quite confident I'm going to, but let's see what Barry's got to play in the third.
Yeah, so it's 13-2 to field in the Exchange, 7.4 Shake 'em Up Harry, Midnight River 8.6, 10 Ilradito, Naslam 11.5 Coconut Squash, Brave Seska 12.5, 13.5 Gold Lucky 17 Bar. It's 5 places to each way punters on the sports book here. I like Ilradito. Obviously, he finished. He was 4th to GA Law in the Paddy Power back in November. He had been lined up to run a couple of races since, but the weather scuppered that. I wasn't sure whether he truly stayed in the Paddy Power, but on reflection, he was the only one in the top 4 that hadn't had the benefit of a run. That was his first run in 224 days, and it was his first run after a wind-up. So I'm willing to give him another chance at this trip. I think the ground's fine for him. So we're going to have 25 quid each way at 8-1 on the sportsbook. Please avail of those 5 places, Robbie.
Yeah, sure, mate.
Lovely. All right, so there you go. Play the places then, El Rodotto. I think that's the form to be with, Barry. We see this, don't we, for the Paddy Power Gold Cup guys? They usually go to December Gold Cup. That wasn't run, of course, this year. That went by the wayside. Same as the International Hurdle. But Dan Skelton was going to run Midnight River. He finished 1 place ahead of Il Rodotto, and it is the finish to watch back. And again, you've got time to do it. Check it out. Il Rodotto comes there. He must have gone very low, I imagine, in running, Barry, because he was swinging, wasn't he, Il Rodotto, 2 out?
Yeah, he was. He travelled well. He made a bit of a mistake at the last. I don't think he was swinging now. He didn't. For my money, he never looked like a couple of strides. He looked like he could get involved, but he just didn't get home. And I'm hoping that's just because he hadn't had a run, and it was his first run after a wind-up. So those 2 mitigating factors have me with him here.
He's a horse, Il Rodotto, because he won on the Old Hennessy weekend, that final 2-mile race that Amarillo Sky won this season.
Yeah.
And he then went to Sandown. Do you remember? They turned him out quickly. And he never went his way. But even in the Grand Annual, on heavy ground, he was given so much to do. And he came cruising into it at one point and then just got bottomed out. And you thought to yourself, he's just got a bit of a public fascination about him, I think.
He has, yeah.
Because he looks like a strong 2-miler, but then he wasn't really going with the paciest of them, if that makes sense. And then I thought last time they probably got there soon enough. I
Yep.
said to Kills on Friday when we were doing Watch Out, I was like, I think they hold on to him for longer this time. But if you watch that back, I thought for a lot of that race, Midnight River wasn't going to play a part. Dan Skelton told me the day before when we were doing, again, same programme, I love him, Dave, and he's got a big one in him, but we want softer ground. This is his ground. They didn't declare him for the December Gold Cup because it would have been too quick for him.
I wondered as well, Harry was banned.
Oh, okay. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Well, he's not been the greatest jumper at times as he's starting off his chasing career.
It would have been quicker ground. Kills said to me, well, he wants good ground, doesn't he?
Is that your impression of Kills?
That's how he talks.
He wants good ground.
He does get a little bit angry sometimes. And he said all his forms suggest he wants it. But actually, if you go back to his early career, where he was a very good novice hurdler, he had some really interesting form, and he could potentially still be a little bit better than these, I think. And I love the way he finished up the hill.
That they gave him a wide trip, didn't they? I presume because of the fact that he's not always been the greatest jumper, and they want him to have light and space.
If you saw him on his chase debut, he looked horrible, didn't
Carlisle,
he?
yeah. But I just wonder if you can win one of these big handicaps doing that.
I thought he looked all right last time they posted. It just
no, but I mean, like going wide the whole way,
as
in I think he's got a really big one in him. I just wonder if he's quite man enough for it.
Well, this is what we're going to find out, isn't it? The market. I thought Il Ridoto and him would be dominating the market. Shake 'em up, Harry for Ben Pauling, who we've previously mentioned on this show already. He's having a really good time of it so far. Luca Morgan, Harpersbrook didn't quite come up to scratch, but they obviously fancy this one. Harry Redknapp, you would imagine, is there today, loving life. Coconut Splash for Evan Williams, who, again, a bit of a placer, isn't he? He's got that Chantry House form and good form in the back. Tom Siegel has put that up in price-wise. Nasalam, they fancied him a bit for the December Gold Cup. Cheap pieces on. Will he jump properly? He's a horse that you've put up before, Rob.
Oh, yeah. I've sort of gone off him after his last run, though. I mean...
Back him up. It's the Cliff horse.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to just abandon horses, don't you?
Well, I'm going to talk about that when we talk about our resolutions a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Brave Shaska does give it a class angle. Now, Happy Go Lucky is another very good horse. Warlord could bounce back. Fantastic lady. And it could be a big hour for David Maxwell here. And here's my link.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I put him up. I put him up in the Paddy Power, and I don't know. I don't think he'd ridden for a while, and I felt like he was in need of the run.
Hang on, come on. You're saying this with a bit of a smile because, of course, we're talking about the amateur David Maxwell, of course, who, if you don't know, owns really, really talented horses in his own colours for him to ride, basically. He's a great, important part of the game.
Yeah.
I thought he had him very well placed for a lot of that. We were teasing you a bit during the run because he had him on the inside and Batch was getting excited.
Yeah, I think when push came to shove through the last sort of mile, I just don't know if David Maxwell had it in the locker, but he has been riding quite a bit since. So
Festival handicap winner, simply the bets.
Yeah, I think he could come on for the run. I mean, he was second in this last year off £4 higher. He's a well handicapped horse, and I just thought again, it's like we were talking about deserting horses. I thought I put him up last time. I've got to wade back in again.
Forgiving horses.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and again, we'll talk about that a bit more. Get your resolutions in for this year. That's what I want to hear. 2023. What a race this is with Dimachine at 20 to 1. Dejan Dekajak, who is talented but frustrating. The pieces are on, of course. Alexander Thorne claiming 5. He's at 25 to 1. You've got Eden Hugh, one of the rags as well. Jackamar, who's got a good race in him again this season. And lost in translation, the rag of them all. You never often see that in big handicaps. Who does Robbie Wilders
quite
like?
a few of these you could make a case for being like fairly well handicapped, couldn't you? I was thinking Warlord. I mean, good novice form last season. He's finished second in 2 different Grade 1s.
Forgive me if I'm wrong. Did you put this up when it was supposed to run in the December Gold Cup?
You are so correct, my friend. And also fantastic lady, but we'll get to that.
Yes.
I think
that's interesting.
I like him stepping up in trip. I expected a little bit more from him in the Halden Gold Cup, but you just go back through his novice form. I mean, he also beat Manila Drama.
So you're sticking with your pair. You're happy to go with them again. Roll the dice.
Yeah, and a fantastic lady. That form with Zambella just keeps working out.
Oh,
superbly.
that's a fair point.
She gets further. She stays 3 miles. So it does not hurt 2.5 miles at Cheltenham, as the real Wacker proved earlier.
Well, what a race. And just before we go to some socials and go back to Barry to check the market, then we're around about 2 or 3 minutes off the big feature handicap of the day. I've got David Mann has sent in a quote to us at the Racing Post, part owner of the real Wacker. A lot of credit to the yard, basically. Unreal horse to be involved in. Once in a lifetime sort of horse. Paddy, apparently, the trainer wasn't confident going there. He was apparently it was a bit of a tricky drive down to them there. I'm looking to see what the target might be, and we'll be back in March, and we're leaning towards the longer race. So your Brown advisory, Barry, for the real whacker if you're listening to the owners.
Yeah. Well, he's shortest price for that at the moment. I suppose that an outfit like that will want to see what the opposition is like, and if there's any of the real short ones in there. I think Jerry Colombe heads that market at the moment at around the 5-1 mark, but whichever one he goes for, he's a life chance.
He's a hell of a nice horse, that Jerry Colombe. It's just whether he'll get his ground come Cheltenham. It's a really nice horse, isn't he? Look beaten, and he just keeps finding it. He keeps putting out more. And the owner, David Mann, is apparently working in his nightclub until 2:30, and you got the 6:15 flight to Bristol. I had a car, drove down, not been to bed yet, and shan't be going to bed until the 2nd of January.
Good for him.
That's the way to play the game, isn't
exactly,
it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go to bed, man.
The real whacker, and something tells me that hangover is going to whack David as well. A quick quote on Monmoral, if you don't mind. Clanders Obo ran here as a 4 and 5-year-old. He just didn't get home. We need this guy to strengthen up. I think he'll want 3 miles in time. He's just nowhere near the finished article, says Nichols of Monmoral. We get the beaten quotes here. You'll get them all on the Racing Post website and in tomorrow's paper as well. 9 o'clock, the digital edition, for those of you that are subscribed. All right, let's get some socials up.
Here we go.
Oh, we're off and running. Okay.
Oh.
Nick Palfrey, fantastic lady. You're with Robbie on that. Barry, who went off favourite in the end?
Shake him up, Harry, 6.6.
All right, let's find him in the run then.
Let's get this Catterick
We've
one
got
out
a
of the way,
slight
can we?
split screen there, but this is how it is with just all the racing on one channel at the minute, guys. We can't.
Ilradoto
go too
ridden
much.
handy.
Stolen Silver, of course, unseated in the Paddy Power. I tell you what, Coconut Splash wasn't great there. He was in a line
Shake
of fire
him up, Harry,
as well.
bang up sides.
Ilradoto, this is
Yeah.
interesting, guys.
leading.
Not worried about the stamina, Barry, are they? He's in 3rd place.
No, he's nice and handy on him, right up the inside. Shake him up, Harry's up there. Eden DeHoo is leading the charge at the moment. Just some Stolen Silver, is he?
Yeah, he is at the moment, and look, some more coming in. Anil Sapali on Stolen Silver, of course. Tom Leach says Maxwell is getting better, to be fair to him. Would love to see him go and win. Not as much as this man. I think the decibels might break
Yeah, exactly,
if Maxi goes and does it. And don't forget, one of the highlights of 2022 began on this day last year when he won for Barry at a massive prize. And what a great ride on Dolphin Square, who comes up in our final race of the day again. That was amazing, wasn't it? Matty Batch,
We gave him a good cheer home.
Go on, Maxi! He was shouting at the top of his voice. Let's see if we can repeat the antics. Happy Go Lucky is up there. A horse that we know is very talented. He's not far off the top level, really. Well, on his day, he's just had his problems.
That was a good run he had back in the Betfair Rehearsal Chase behind the pressing.
Yeah, and into Overdrive, of course, who went and won a really good Roland Merrick. They've just been minding him for the ground post, haven't they?
Happy-go-lucky, yeah. I mean, I think you get the impression, understandably, Kim Bailey thinks the world of the horse, and like you say, he's a bin fragile, and they're trying to protect him.
Now, hang on a minute. I came to you then, and I could see you were concentrating a little bit more than normal. Why is that?
Well, I'm just watching Maxi as he goes through the race. He's in a really good slot at the moment. He's just down the middle, sort of 5th, 6th, and we're happy out. But I think so far it's been a lost in translation, not travelling. He's kind of, you wonder.
I'd say they have to turn it up with him after today.
Definitely.
He wouldn't be making any sense if he turned up in Abu Dhabi at the moment, would he? You wouldn't be able to understand him at all. He's just lost between the ears, I think, that one, and probably looks like he's had enough.
Yeah, it's Lost in Translation, the film.
Great film.
It's a good film, yeah.
Great film. Bill Murray. Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, good duo.
Just a bit.
Midnight Rivers jumped well early. He's wide again.
Oh, I'm happy with that. He's just in that midfield sit, and Harry got a rush of blood today on Vicky Vale yesterday, didn't he, in the cello, and went plenty hard enough up front.
Yeah, you weren't happy about that.
Well, hang on a minute. I was delighted because he gave a lead to me going in. You were the one that threw him under the bus saying he went too hard. Brave Shashka then, the Aintree winner. Stank in the market when he made his running return at Aintree. Favourite for the Grand Annual in many, many books. He's right out the back. Doing plenty, but he's going to finish strong. Natalam on the inside, Rob. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Just because he jumps out.
I haven't really been focusing on him.
He jumps out to the side a lot of times.
He does.
Whichever way he goes, Nassalam, he jumps out one way.
That's why I gave him another chance after Ascot when he kept jumping out.
And here they are, got him on the inside, not giving him a chance to do it. De Machine, what a price he was. He bumped into one at Newbury last time, but he's still there going well. Jackamar out the back. Fantastic Lady, widest of all.
Lost in translation, getting the appetite for it again.
No.
Actually, I couldn't have called that any worse.
I mean, that would...
He's the in-running man now,
He's not quite pulled him up yet, but I think it's a matter of time, I think.
I'm just not going to say anything for a while.
Midnight River now closing up a little bit, Harry Skelton there. We can see Warlords in the middle, still for Robbie there. Il Rodotto on the inside, saved every ground. Happy-go-lucky. Eden DeHoo now gone up with it. He walked through that one.
Yeah, he's not jumping too well, Eden DeHoo.
Yeah, the
Il
pipes.
Rodotto getting a peach of a ride.
Absolute. I am surprised that they're going to play their hand as early. So they're obviously very confident he's going well at home, isn't he? All to play for then at the fifth last, Posty.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately for me, on simply the bets, but Maxey's lost his position a bit and looks to have it all up against him. Stolen Silver's led them throughout, jumped fantastic. Eden DeHoo's been there, shaking up Harry. Midnight River travels wide. Happy-go-lucky following through Il Rodotto. Harry Cobden's managed to let Jamie Moore up his inside on Nassalam.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? And so, Barry, we're coming to this third last now. This is where they really find men from the boys stuff. What have we got in the market?
Yeah, well, your favourite still Shake 'em Up Harry at 3.9. He's getting a sweet run. 11.5 Stolen Silver, 9.8 Nassalam. Il Rodotto out to 40 now. Looks well beat.
3 out then. And Midnight River comes up on the bridle. Shake 'em Up Harry. He went off Fav in the end. Happy-go-lucky gone. Il Rodotto now having a shake of the reins and he's switching. Nassalam not out of it. Looking for some of the closers, guys. I think we might have a three-way play here. Il Rodotto not done with, actually.
No, I don't think he is.
He's coming
back yet. He's coming right back. Going past Nassalam now. Harry Skelton widest of all. Just coming off the Midnight River. Luca Morgan, Shake 'em Up Harry. Probably travelled best of all into the straight.
It's
Il Rodotto, that widest of all. Harry Cobden.
Up you go, Midnight. Come on, Midnight.
Come on, Harry Cobden.
Go on, Harry. Harry Skelton, I want, not Cobden. I can't believe Barry's going to come and do me as it looks like the two Harrys.
It's a game of two Harrys.
Hamstrung. What's this finishing? Brave Shaska.
Nassalam.
Look out for the clouds. Brave Shaska's got the run in him. But it's Midnight River all the way. Come on, my old son. This is what we wanted to see in the December Gold Cup. It never was. Stolen Silver up the inside. Don't you dare.
No, you're all right.
He's absolutely kitchen sinked it on the Midnight River. Happy day. Stolen Silver in second. Brave Shaska out of nowhere in third.
Nassalam.
Toto clecking on to fourth.
Nassalam third.
Was it?
Oh my God, I shouldn't have deserted him.
You were so excited. You lost the ability to see.
Listen, sometimes you see the ball big, and I knew we'd left something on the table when he run in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. We hope that was the form, Barry, and he's toughed it out.
Harry Skelton does his entry celebration, his Christ the Redeemer statue as he passes the line on Midnight River. Great ride, 8.40 Betfair SP, your winner. Shake 'em Up Harry traded at a low in running of even money. Brave Seska, who came from off the pace, traded at a low, only at a low of 7. Il Rodotto stayed on for 4th place. I don't think he actually stays. He made a mistake at the last. He traded 1.7, 8 to 11. Can you believe that? But yeah, great shot, Dave. Well done.
I'm a little bit surprised going back to Il Rodotto that they were. I know they're having on the crest of a wave at the minute, but for me, he's a horse that wants to do what Brave Shaska tried to do.
Are you not? Brave Shaska never finished anywhere though.
In that case, Nassalam has run an absolute cracker.
Yeah,
but you can see why the pieces are on him.
Il Rodotto, he just looks a bit tripless, doesn't he? You know, you drop him back in trip and he looks short of a gear, and then he goes up to 2.5, and he kind of doesn't ever really seem to see it out. And he runs in snatches. You can see why he's had the wind operation. But
I'd like to see him back. I'd say you'll see him back in the Grand Annual of a handy weight.
Back in where, sorry?
Grand Annual.
Yeah,
it's got to be the Grand Annual now. I think. I don't think they'll go plate with him probably because you're going to come up against some block jobs in that probably. And we know what we've got there. We just got to find the right race for Il Rodotto. That's all it is. Jake Galloway's case, Jake, who started off the show, Il Rodotto just didn't stay up the hill again, did he? A little bit like Montmoral in the previous race for Connections, wasn't it? Did Warlord place, we were asking? Did Warlord get a place? Did Il Rodotto get in the places?
Yeah, Il Rodotto was fourth.
He was definitely fourth. Yeah. Right, look, I'm allowed to lose my head a little bit.
I know you. And
it's Stolen Silver, Midnight River, Stolen Silver, Shake 'em Up Harry, Nassalam, Il Rodotto. I think they were the first 5.
Sam Thomas was about to get a text saying, "You absolute," if that had gone and done that.
That Stones ran a cracker.
And a lot of people expected him to be bang there in the Paddy Power. He just obviously unseated, didn't he? It was first time out. We take these Cheltenham handicaps and we go forward now with them, don't we? You know, I said to Kills on What a Show, it's lovely to see these horses, the second and thirds from these races, coming back and having a go, because when you get your right conditions, slightly different tactics, swinging the weights, all that sort of stuff, and when they actually produce and you get these run of formed lines that go through the season, it's exciting for everyone. It's what racing's supposed to be all about, follow the form lines, and I think we can do it there. Let's pick a couple out of there that didn't turn up. Obviously, Lost in Translation just did not look like he loved the game at all. Happy Go Lucky was
Let's get him in a field now.
Surely Happy Go Lucky is just shorter trip.
Pace.
Yeah, just like he's in top gear the whole way. Like they've ridden him handy. Dave Bassel chipping him away to hold his posse. And I think it's difficult to win those sort of top handicaps when you don't travel like that.
He will go down in the handicap. What are you suggesting here? I see where you're going with this. He will go down in the handicap. He was beaten by the Vintage Clouds in the Ultima, wasn't he, off 147?
Yeah. You'd have thought that'd be the plan there. But again, I think
Maybe
soft
back to
ground is
entry.
very important for him,
Yeah, it is. All right, okay. Coconut Splash, I think that's a project we'll throw out the window.
Yeah. Coconut Splash had a good pitch early on, but was never.
And
travelling
Shake 'em
well
Up
enough.
Harry was there, but didn't quite see it out, did he?
Yeah, I mean, you'd almost wonder if he could come back in trip. I thought he travelled very strong. Like I would say, he travelled best of all turning in, and he kept galloping fine, but just didn't have that sort of stamina resolution that the top two did.
His peak effort, obviously, was last time at Excel. It was 2 mile 3, but probably in a race he had to sort of win there. Before that was at Haydock on soft ground. So okay, listen, we're going to keep following that form, but the show must go on here, and it's Tramore time coming up, Barry. I'm thrilled to say we go to the Seaside Resort.
Yeah, Sattler, your favourite, 183, 288 Manila Indo, and 17 Bar El Bar 17, 22 Killis Emery, and 95 the Ragged Field. I'm with Manila Indo. He's just Sattler won the biggest boar fest in the history of the Cheltenham Festival when he beat Run Wild Fred in the National Hunt Chase. What a inhumanely boring race that was to watch for a Cheltenham Festival. He's very short in here, considering he's to give £8 to a Gold Cup winner. Manila Indo last year, obviously he never performed in Kempton in the King George. He ran a good race behind Conflated in Leopard Center Dub Racing Festival. He's second to Appletard after going plenty early. He wouldn't have beaten Appletard, but he'd been a lot closer if Robbie Power hadn't got a rush of blood to his head. And then you'd forgive him the run in Punchestown. He was over the top and he pulled up. But he's a good record running after a break. And getting the £8 off him, if he's anyway straight, I think he'll put it up to the favourite here. So 2.88, Robbie. Happy to be a price taker at 2.88. We're going to have 25 quid in Manila Indo. I think it's a dead match between the two of them.
Absolutely.
Okay, the two class acts then. Manila Indo, if you're looking at just handicap ratings, he has to win this, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But it's whether it's first time out, he's going to be ready. Henry de Bromhead was the last trainer in 2017 to break the Mullins stranglehold of this race. As Barry told us on the show yesterday, Willie Mullins is heavily invested in. Have you got the Manila? Is that Manila Indo?
Manila Indo Silks.
And are you putting him up as well?
Yeah, I think so. It just makes sense. I wouldn't have priced this up as Statler being favourite. That's for sure. It's just that £8.
This is a Galloping Deschamps thing, isn't it?
The only thing is that Manila Indo is not going to be as good as he once was, and Statler could be better than we've seen. I just think I'd hope Manila Indo.
I was impressed with Statler, and I know it was a joke of a national hunt chase that we had numerically. I must have.
That was my worst anti-post bet of all time. I backed Pat's Fancy each way to finish in the first three, and he finished fourth.
I think I put him up for that at a price at the turn of the year when I was doing some previewing and stuff, because he did look interesting.
No, but I'd like to think he'd be beating Statler getting £8.
Yeah, fair enough. And I do think they'll have him revved up for today. The more you look at how the season might pan out, of course, he'll go back to the Irish Gold Cup. You would imagine he was second Conflated, of course, after that.
Yeah.
Barry's right. They ran him in the King George last season, but he had his brains were blown in that, weren't they? Just him and Frodon went far too hard, and it took him ages to get him back. And then a lot of people thought maybe that we saw enough in the Irish Gold Cup to come, and he ran a blinder in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, he did.
Absolute sledger. I think the Protectorate has given that weight. It's a Gold Cup, isn't it?
He didn't run too much worse than he probably did the previous year.
If you're with Statler,
was a different level.
what price is he now, Barry? 4 to 5 on.
Yeah, he's around that 183.
You are hoping that the Magic Man has got a horse that is going to make this 158 rate, and there's every chance that will be the case.
Yeah,
that 158 is going to be a thing of the distant past.
I think he's probably going to be better than. He's only run 3 times over fences.
It's interesting that he's the representative to come here as well. Yeah,
Well, you're taking a horse with proven form against one that you're hoping is on the upgrade, aren't you?
I thought he could still be a player in the Gold Cup, Statler.
I think you're spot on.
I mean, it seems a bit obvious to say it, but he does look like this season's Galvin, doesn't he? Won the same race, same connections.
Like we might like Manila, but it still wouldn't surprise you to see Statler winning this well, would it?
No, because
But
at the
I
ratings,
don't think it's
getting
really
£8,
a betting race.
Theoretically,
No. I don't
theoretically, there's only £20 that Manila Indo at his best form could have to play with here.
Yes.
If you take in the,
Yeah, with the £8,
differential. Yeah. So it's if you back Statler, this is the great conundrum out there for you punters, and he comes unstuck here. This is the egg on face, isn't it?
But it's how much you rate the untapped potential, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. Listen, I like Statler. He's a horse that I put up in my anti-post Gold Cup 1, 2, 3. So I've got to stick with him. I believe in him.
I'm with Statler.
What sort of price is he
I'm
now
not
for the
backing
Gold
him.
Cup? What sort of price is he now for the Gold Cup?
That's a good question.
Because
Sportsbook
it will
Gold
come.
Cup
It will
Statler,
come
Barry?
in, won't it, if he wins it?
14, 33, Manilindo.
Yeah, I probably want a little bit more juice, but then again, he might go and make that 14s look silly in 5 minutes' time.
I mean, 33 Manila Indo seems a bit of an overreaction as well.
He's just so much better at Cheltenham.
He just loves Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Like we all do, of course. All right, we'll be popping back to Cheltenham for a couple of races after this. We've got one more to come from Musselburgh as well. Happy New Year, if you're just joining us. I'm myself, Dave Orton, joined by Charlie Poste. Robbie Wilders pressing the buttons for Barry Orton in Dublin. And we're having a great day. Barry got us off to an absolute flyer, and there's his selection look. There's the team tips look. Statler. It's a two-way split.
I'm with you.
We've got
You
a
boys are
50%
going
chance, lads.
Statler?
Yeah, we are. But it's mainly, I think you're right about the Gold Cup. And I haven't backed him for the Gold Cup. Maybe I should be looking at that. But, when you've got the stablemate who is obviously the number one, isn't
He's
it?
a bit special, isn't he? But he's still 7 to 4, though.
What did you make of the John Durkin?
I thought he was really impressive.
A lot of people said he just did what he had to, but he's thrashed Fakir Duderis.
Yeah. Well,
He was last got-
Fakir Dideris probably run a similar race to how he ran in the race last year.
He just
finishing
usually
fourth.
sees the backside of Allaho, doesn't he? But he is a proper Grade 1, also over 2 mile 4 in his day.
Yeah, you can't take away
He slammed
Fakir
him.
Duduri.
I feel like he's so good that he wouldn't be out of place in a champion chase. Like he's got plenty of speed.
Well, that's the beauty of these sort of horses.
Galloping the Champ.
Yeah.
Colto Star was,
think
of course, the last horse that we really had like that could run in any division.
He could be the next one, but I still wouldn't want to back him 7 to 4 for a Gold Cup.
Could he yet be the next Colto Star?
Let's see what he does at a Dublin Racing Festival. Presuming that's where he goes next. Irish Gold Cup, do you reckon?
Well, the Irish is it going to be the Irish Gold Cup next for Galloping de Champ, Barry?
Yeah.
Let's see what he does there. I mean, if he goes and wins that by 12 lengths.
So it's him versus Conflated, who basically is Mr. Leopardstown.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good Savills chase at all.
Doesn't matter. He loves Leopardstown.
Yeah, you'll have
He does.
Plutard in there as well, won't you, potentially?
Oh, man.
Manilindo, maybe.
I mean, that's
could be a
worth
belt,
the
yeah.
entrance fee alone, isn't it? Absolutely superb. See those three going hammer and songs around Leopardstown. Oh, bring on the first weekend in February. Then everyone's saying we were talking about.
That's been a great initiative, isn't it? The Dublin Racing Festival.
Your horse is about to. Your horse is now. I thought you got a bit quiet.
Yeah, I just
We're just. There's a race running at a Musselburgh Barry and viewers where Poste broke one in. You know what that means?
No, we had it. So it won a point to point for us.
You actually managed to get this over the line in a point to point.
Yeah.
Was it the Scirocco one?
No, it's a horse called Dondium, the Diamond Boy down the inner. He's been disappointing, but he's switched stables to Laura Morgan.
Brian Hughes is on.
Brian Hughes on. He had a run at
on a
Stratford
handicap.
for a handicap, and he's off 93.
Went off favourite.
Yeah, he's been a fraction keen, but he was a bit like that even when he was with us. So.
Fair to say someone's professional reputation and wallet is standing on this race, so we shall keep an eye on it.
I think my professional reputation isn't, but my wallet might be.
Now, interestingly, in the chat, let's keep with this then because we're coming up.
Francesca Nemo, is that your wife's name?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. You've married into the Nimos, haven't you? Is it Nemo or Nimo?
Nemo.
Nemo. Yeah. Unfortunately, she's now called Poste.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but Fran is the brains behind the operation, as we well know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite right. All right, so we'll let you watch that, Posty, and perhaps people might want to get involved in running because he's actually going all right, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we've got another circuit to go. I mean,
Oh no! Don't do a Barry and think I'm putting the mockers on it. We're not doing that. Let's get a social up then on the screen while we do this. Hugh Masson liked this. I was just about to read this out, Hugh. Thanks, Sam. Mike back Manella Indo in running. Oh, okay. If he looks like he's enjoying himself.
Yeah, it's just one of those where, like, it wouldn't really surprise you if he just pulled up, would it?
Oh, it would surprise me.
Tom Leach disagrees. Lay Indo, says Tom. A big Statler fan then, I'm imagining, Tom Leachy, are you? Very interesting indeed. 2:30 is the next race coming up at Cheltenham, guys. It's the Rail Keel. Barry likes First Street in that. It's obviously in the Lucky 15. You've got Ike to Move It. Napper's in that. Marie's Rock, who was fab. She's been very easy to back, I think. And have I mentioned the winner there? We shall find out at 2:30. Going back to, I think he has to look like he's enjoying himself around Tramore in this race because they're not going to wing it, are they?
Not at all. No. Like, I can't see him pulling up, if you know what I mean. I think he'll run his race. It's
Going
just
back, I shouldn't have said that.
It's just whether an improving Statler has got too much young legs for him. I mean, but like you said all along, I mean, if Manella Indo bounces back to anything like his, within half a stone of his peak efforts, he should be really serving up the Statler, shouldn't he?
You did very well to go through all that without looking at the screen because you're in front of Musselburgh.
I know.
Oh, he was. Oh, hang on a minute.
No, it's fallen.
Oh no!
You jinxed it.
How's your horse?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I jinxed it.
Can't believe it.
He's unseated.
He didn't.
Oh, these-
see.
Did he? Was it a fall?
I don't know.
Oh, Brian Hughes. Oh well, never mind. We can now.
Well,
get
at least
Moving on.
he's
We can
now get back to the real action.
Yeah, at least he's run off.
Well, the horse is up and well. That's
Yeah.
the most important thing, and so is Brian.
And
All
the
right,
geezer.
okay. Let's go back to the market then, Barry. We can all see where you're coming from with Manella Indo. Robbie's with you as well. The handicapper would only be backing one horse if he was allowed to, and yet Statler still hot in the market.
Yeah, he's 188 now. He's 182 when we spoke previously. 2.96 Manila Indo, 14 El Bar and 20 Bar. Yeah, that's the market has it about right at the moment now. I can't see it changing much from its current prices. So kind of just around the 2-1 mark Manila Indo and 4-5 Statler.
We should chat about some of the others, of course. We've got Barry's Spanish cousin in here, El Barra. Under Jack Foley, 153 horse. The boys in the gallery like that for some reason.
Really nice angle, that.
Chilos Emery, who is he's an 11-year-old.
There has been a few quid for El Barra.
Has there?
Yeah, he was 20 at one stage.
Yeah, because of course this is often
We're
sort of
off,
1,
guys.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Mullins. So
Here we go.
okay. And Roy Marge, who's quite interesting. I wanted to back him in the national last year. Roy Marge, he didn't quite get in. And Roy Marge and Manella Indo. Now, Hugh Masson, does he look like he's enjoying himself? Hugh, I think the answer here is yes. Very interesting that. Now this is quite interesting, isn't it? They're not. They're kind of wanting to lead.
Good
on
and
Manella
positive
Indo.
on Manila, and I like that.
Good and positive, and he came up
Yeah,
beautifully
makes sense,
there.
doesn't it?
And all of a sudden, we've got two races here because Chilos Emery's right out the back. Stamina he is, of course, a winner over the distance, but he's a speedy horse. I know he's 11 now.
He's a
so I can
triple
see what
horse,
he's doing.
Chilos Emery.
You think so?
Yeah.
He was in his heyday a real cracking horse, wasn't he, for the McMahons? And you've got El Barra. Seeing it out the back, hoping for his paella when he gets past the line. All right, okay, and the Statler's in third. Just have a look at how Statler jumps this. Up and absolutely fine. All right then, okay. So Roy Marge, yeah, it's quite an interesting horse, Roy Marge. He's got some pretty good form. I'm not suggesting he could be winning this, but I will be finding the payday out of him, I think, this afternoon. Now, is he enjoying himself, guys, Manella Indo? That's what we have to ask ourselves.
Certainly, yeah.
Gallery, is he enjoying
think so.
himself?
What are they saying?
Yeah, thumbs up.
The boys in the
lads
studio
in
said
we've got
he was.
Kieran
Can't
and
confirm.
Sam, the top boys in the gallery today, they're punting like madmen out there. I can absolutely tell. And there's been a couple of cheers going out there. And they're with Barry on this one, I think. Statler then, he's got a lovely way of going about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's relaxed into a lovely rhythm, following through the front 2 through. But yeah, I'd agree. I think Manella Indo looks like he's travelling happily as well in front, upsides in front.
All right then, a thumbs up for Manella Indo so far from us, Barry.
Yeah, he's trading at 258 now, so he's come in to 6-4 for 2-1, 1.79 though. Statler, El Barra is the big grifter from 12 out to 48 Chilos Emery. But yeah, he's enjoying it, Manila, and that's what you want to see, isn't it?
Yes, and I think it's probably quite a good thing just getting a lead from this. Again, good horse Roy Marge on his day. And Statler just picking him off, isn't he? One by one. Paul Townend could have gone to ride a couple of stable stars at Fairyhouse, of course, today. We've got some 3 more races coming your way, guys, after this. 2 from Cheltenham and 1 from Musselburgh. We go back up there as well, where Poste will try and gather himself and his reputation. Okay, Statler then in third. Cheltenham, absolutely horrible jump there out the back. They're going to start stepping on the gas, I would imagine, at one. But how many times have they got to go round again here? It's hard to know, isn't it? It's hard to know. It's like
I think they passed the winning post 3 times.
Yeah.
Is it? Is it something like that? Yeah. Okay. Have you ever been to Downpatrick?
No.
Not that I really. It is one of the. That should be a bucket list track for everyone out there. It's one of the. You watch it on the telly all the time. You go there and you're just like, what is this place? It's
You said creepy.
What? Creepy?
What did you say?
No, it's a bucket list track.
No, you said like a word.
Creepy?
I thought you said creepiest place.
No, it's not creepy. It's not scary.
I was going to say.
You should go there, Rob. You'd be accepted, I'm sure.
Excuse
me.
in
that top.
Excuse me.
All right, okay. Manila Indo then. Setting sides. When's he going to press the button, Barry?
Ooh.
Well, they've got to go round again, don't they?
Yeah.
We're guessing they have.
Yeah, steady on.
We think they have. I mean, it's obviously a very tight turning track, uphill, down dale, isn't it?
He's moved him out a little bit wider. Statler
It used to be considerably worse. They've done a lot of remedial work on this track, would you believe?
Okay, so
It used to be a bookmaker's paradise. They used to race down into a dip then they'd come back up on a right-hand turn. It was absolute carnage.
Was it Pat Flynn used to lay them out there, didn't he?
And runners, 7 furlong handicaps on it. It'd be absolute carnage. But yeah, they go around again.
Yeah, and we saw a 5s on shot win the first, didn't we, I think? And even that looked like it was in trouble at one point for Team Mullins, of course. All right, okay. I mean, I'm trying to think of things to say. Rob, help me out. It's like,
I mean, I have got nothing to say.
Are you confident on Manila Indo?
There's
almost like a team bet going on here,
Just
isn't
our
there?
gentleman pointed out. I mean, I hope the gentleman's backed him in running.
Hugh Masson.
Hugh Masson, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he has come in for support. I get that. I mean, Statler was slightly messy at one of those. But
We could be in for an.
So this is the last on the next circuit.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Hugh Masson's on, can confirm.
Closer. The 2 out the back have got considerably closer, haven't they?
Yes, which suggests, I think, that's why I was just about to say we could be in for quite an interesting finish here, I think. But it's usually around the far side, and you can tell where your money's going to go, basically.
This is always a tricky fence, up the hill, away from the stand. This can catch a couple of them out.
Do you remember Album Photo would occasionally look like he might be in a semblance of an issue and then just blow them away? This is probably where it is. Yeah, and again, Chilos Emery just not convincing, is he? But he's classy enough still to stick in the pack. He's preceded by El Barra, the third Mullins horse, and the well-fancied Statler. The Gold Cup hope still, Statler.
Slightly out to his left a little bit.
Jumping to his left a bit, yeah.
Yeah, no bad thing with Cheltenham in mind, that, of course. Unbeaten yet.
You want to ping this one.
You want to be pinging this one. And Roy Marsh has had an easy one up front. And who was that? Which one? Okay. El Barra's
gone.
El Barra's come to his final run there in that race. And, he's out the picture. Now they get racing.
They'll end up to pick it up nearly, wouldn't you, and say go on.
And interestingly, look, Brian Hayes has also pulled out Chilos Emery now, where they probably think they're great. Now Rachel is saying, OK, this is where I'm going to try and get the lead. But at the moment, Sean O'Keefe on the old boy, who stays all
Couple
day
slap
now.
Down the shoulder from Manila.
Well, she's just asking him now, isn't she? The cheap pieces.
Response there from Manila.
No, it's again, they tried pieces with him before and all that sort of stuff, haven't they? Statler at the moment, then he's going to be going short. Oh, yeah, look at him. He's really short on the exchange now.
Rachel can't get by the rag of the field.
Roy Marsh, who I wanted to back for the Grand National last season. All right, okay, let's see. Here we go. He is, but this is just because they've got no pace. Now he's being left behind. And this is the duel we wanted, Posty. I'll tell you what, we're rowing away. All of a sudden, hang on a minute, flippy floppy. He went 1.2, didn't he, at one point? Statler is being seen away. He's going to give him £8. On the last then.
Manila's got it wrong.
Statler's finding. Looks like he's just going to get there. Class is going to shine here, guys. I think Manila Endo, low jacking on the line. You swine of a man. You've done the team bet. Look, he's up and up. Absolute. The Gold Cup winner has done it on the nod. We look like we were going to get up. Robbie, well done as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
there
you go.
Back it, but...
I said we might be up for a decent finish, Barry. I thought we were coming to do you. You've stuck your head back out where it matters again.
I think she's up. She's Rachel and Manila. Obviously, a Gold Cup winner. They're trading low 1.16. for nearly $2,000. So 6-1 on for Sattler for nearly $2,000. Manila Indo hit a high in running 10.5. Would you believe? Never thought it would trade that big, but only for small money. But game was a pebble. Manila Indo when hook it up. Obviously, it's the £8 that really mattered at the finish.
Looks that way, doesn't it? And you just thought that this would be a big day for him. And look, the handicap's been proved right, hasn't it? And fair play, Rob.
I just think all three of those horses are going to be happy. Like connections of those horses. Like if you're Manila Indo and Statler, you're both happy with that, aren't you? Really? Well, you're not happy to lose, but I mean, Statler's run a big old career best.
I think the difference was Manila Indo was down.
Yes, he has.
Was down the inside, and Statler, well, like that, it's always turning away from you. You know, he can't like. I mean, for me, you know, Statler comes out as the best horse in the race.
Did
doesn't
it? Well, he does on the weight.
100%,
Did it turn into something of a sprint?
Yes,
that race?
massively.
Yeah, which wouldn't have suited a
Yeah.
National Hunt Chase winner, would it?
No.
Although Manila Indo,
I mean, he's a funny horse on Manila Indo, isn't he? Because he looks like he's kind of not really wanting to go, and then he gets headed. And then responds and gets up gamely, you know, as in he's a difficult horse to work out.
Yeah, he wore a tongue tie when he disappointed behind Allaho on his final run last year, and quite right, he said put a line through it. And he wore pieces in the King George that time, which obviously didn't work out. So he's obviously, you know, the older these horses get, the more they think about it. But look, Manila Indo, Gold Cup winner, back on track. What a treat that was, and what a finish it was as well. Let's get some more social interaction up.
20 from 33 to 1 for the Gold Cup, Manila Indo, and Statler unchanged at 14.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and Chris says that's the 40 to 1 for the Cheltenham Gold Cup gone. Glad I took 33 to 1 with Betfair as the 40 to 1 disappeared. Quite right. And for a horse that's won it and finished second, you know, he'll certainly be the each way, you know, sort of tipsters will be suggesting, well, he's the value in the race, you know. He turns up there and he runs his race all the time, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Some big prices about that. Right, we must move on. What a treat that was then. Every New Year's Day, we are treated to a Gold Cup winning performance. Have we seen one there? What did you make us that there? Let us know. Get them in. Get your resolutions in as well. I'm going to tell you mine in a minute. Once we preview this 2:30, which is, of course, the Rel Kill. Grade 2, Barry Orr. Can you do it again?
I like the move. It's gone favourite, would you believe? 4.2. It's quite strong at that first street out to 6. 7.6. Nappers Hill is friendless. Maria's Rock's come in for some support into 6.4. Botax has 9.6 and it's 11 bar. I like first street in it. The Jerry Fielden form, he had to give £25 to Givitana, the filly or the mare of Paul Nichols that was sent off 11 to 10 favourite in the first race in Newbury yesterday. Really disappointed, but the ground was the reason for her disappointing there. Paul did say in his blog on Betfair that if it got any softer, he would have concerns for her. So I was surprised to see she went off at 11 to 10. So to give her £25 was a fair result in the Jerry Field. And his second statement in the County Hurl when he was giving him £1 reads really, really well in the light of what he's gone on to do. He looks like the only real credible contender to take on Constitution Hill in March. Yeah, so what we're going to do here, please, again, happy to be a price taker because he is coming in for a bit of support. We'll take the 5.6. We're going to have 25 quid win First Street. We also have him in our Lucky 15.
Oh, yeah. Of course. 3 legs left.
First Street then for Nicky Henderson. Of course, these horses were supposed to run the international hurdle, weren't they? December before it was called off over the stiff 2 miles. And now they're coming back for a slightly sharper 2 mile 4 in the Rel Keel, which is sort of more stayers hurdly, isn't it? Than
Well, so that's it's the intermediate job, isn't it? Really, and as in like you say, you I suppose you got horses like I like to move it that are, 2 milers having a go over 2.5, and then you've probably got stronger staying horses dropping back, haven't you? So
yeah, the likes of more of that, of course, in 2013. What a worldie he was. Rock and Ruby, of course, champion hurdle winner, won it in 2014. Going up the list as well, Fabulous won it a couple of years ago. Stormy Island last year getting a freebie.
Midnight Shadow,
beautiful Midnight Shadow, Holstone. So we're talking about like really stamina horses, really. So, okay, we know what Barry likes. First Street. Robbie, you're off the back of a winner.
One thing I'll mention about First Street, he's flat bred. I'm not sure he's guaranteed to stay 2.5 miles. I think he's very interesting.
He's won over 2 mile 5.
That was at Warwick, wasn't it?
and Golden Horn has now switched over. Golden Horn's now a jumping stallion.
Is he?
But on the soft though.
But this is one of those Bamford beautiful flat pedigrees, isn't it? But a Derby winner out of a very good. I mean, I see what you mean. I think, if anything, you could actually argue, Rob, on the flip side, when you watch that finish, you took a long time to get on top of Grivitana last time.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know where he falls really. Paul Kinney's a massive fan of this horse.
Is he?
Yeah, loves it.
So is Rodders as well.
And they've all, they all thought he was going to, be the real deal, I think. And I don't know. He's not for me in this. That's
I feel
for
like
sure.
I like to move it is more likely to be more of a 2.5 miler.
I would have really fancied him to beat him over stiff 2 miles in the international.
Yeah.
I like to move. I would have fancied him to beat Epatante as well.
Yeah. You're worried about the trip then?
I
You're
am
worried about
slightly
trip, I like
about
to
the
move it.
It's mainly because of his run style. I wonder whether they might be queuing up.
I reckon. I'm hoping. I know my selection was I like to move it, but I want to change my mind to Dashel Drasher.
You want to jump on the
Dashel
Dave
Drasher
Orton
was.
bandwagon.
Yeah, I almost sent him.
It's a good place to
I
be.
almost sent. I think. Well, the ground's coming right for him. He's not run at Cheltenham before, I believe. Maybe he ran in a bump or something years ago, but he should really be suited by Cheltenham because all he does is he's a grinder, isn't he? He just keeps finding more and more. I could just see him being tough to pass.
He will absolutely love this. And
Do you think he will?
yeah, I do.
If he turns it into a real test, like a few of these could get found out, I think.
My worry is that they go too hard too soon with it. Him and I like to move it. But you don't want to be eyeballing Dashel Drasher. There's one horse in training.
Oh, he's so tough. I can't believe he's not really run over 3 miles.
When he goes and wins around Ascot, though, when he had that right roll year, when he
Yeah.
won the hat-trick around, I mean, how on earth did they keep up those gallops?
Mental, yeah.
Absolutely
he's getting
mental.
weight from the big names there.
He won a novice hurdle around the track.
That was in April at the April meeting, wasn't it? Yeah, so he has been around there. But look, what he's done so far, he beat Langer Dan, who I think we know what Langer's doing, don't we?
Yeah.
I think
Not
we were
ready,
right.
is he?
How many pounds does he need to come down to have another go at the boys' race? 2.
Well, he's down 3, isn't he, from the beginning of the season already?
Yeah. So he got well beaten by Dashel. Didn't really turn up last time when a few people expected him to run his race, and we need another £2 off, and it's on, isn't it? Game on.
It's like they've changed their mindset, sort of, though, isn't it? Because in the stable tour, he was talking about like 3 mile Grade 1s potentially, but they just seem to shelve that.
Hey, read between the lines.
Take away the smoke and the
between the
mirrors,
lines.
Robbie. And he will be. And listen, Langer down in the boys' race at Cheltenham is something that everyone loves, isn't it? I think. He was desperate unlucky in it last year, and then he goes and won it. When everyone was off him. There are some very interesting horses in here, of course. Marie's Rock, Cheltenham Festival winner. Nappers Hill, the up-and-comer. What did Paul say about Nappers, Barry? We know he's positive, as you always said, but this would be another acid test for your man.
Yeah, he's. What did he say about him? Winner of 9 of his 12 races. He was in no hurry to take on Constitution Hill and Kempton at Christmas anyway, that's for sure. They've waited for this race. He stayed on strongly, was successful over the trip in Chepstow in October, and had the pace to beat So Royal in that race in the Elite Hurling with Campton. He was hoping the international wouldn't be abandoned. That was the race that he was his intention to go for with Nappers Hill. But he remains in top form, and he looks good at home.
I like to move it.
Let's see how he gets
They've
on.
changed the way they're riding. I like to
Let's
move
see
it.
how he gets on then. Tritonic, we didn't even mention him out the back. Botox Haas, which one of our producers, Sam Hart, my goodness, we think he's going to win the Stayers Hurdle. So, and Gary Moore, we trust again. This is where the egg on face comes for Sam. Kieran, if you wouldn't mind preparing that. Brewing up a storm on the inside.
Outside,
up front.
outside.
Tom Barras says each way's Nappers Hill. So you're with him. You're with the big man then. Okay, good to see Tom. And First Street for Chris. You're with Barry then. Saver on Botox. You're with Sammy as well. I'll tell you what, there's some great characters in this race. Interestingly, change of tactics on
I like to move. It's been slotted in midway. Dashel Drasher actually getting a relatively easy lead from Botox Has.
I love it.
Brewing up a
what we hope to
storm.
happen.
Widest of all on the track.
Well, poor old Brewing kills Tommy. He's going to have
should have won this last
a
year,
saver on this chat. But
Twice at Cheltenham
he's
it's happened to him.
Yeah, Birchdale was the first time,
Yeah.
and that's when it all was like the writing was on the wall for his career, wasn't it? Very talented horse.
Sure, he's
Ollie
been
Murphy.
quite the same horse since.
Ollie Murphy's got Thomas
Brewing
Derby
up
coming up, top weight in the next as well. So the big guns are out for Murph today, of course. Thunder Rock third in the Dipper when we opened up. So you're enjoying yourselves today, guys. We're going to try and tell you, for those of you that don't have pictures, where your horse is now. And Dashel Drasher is up front. Marie's Rock really keen, isn't she?
Keen earlier down the inside, following through. Nappers Hill again has been prominently ridden, but sort of midway upsides. I like to move it, but wider out.
And Botox is going to give us Rob the handle on this race, isn't he? Because he's got he's got that graded form in the National Spirit, but he's a top handicapper, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what producer Sam's on about for putting up for Stayers Hurdle.
He's got a strange way of looking at the world. Okay, Nappers Hill is keen in around about 5th place at the moment. Langer down at the back. I'll tell you what, First Street is settled all right for my money as well. He's a horse that wears a hood, and you always watch him over the first couple. How's he going in the market, Barry, your pick?
Yeah, he's 5.5. He had a Betfair SP of 4.6. Your favourite, I like to move it at a Betfair SP of 4.4. So there was plenty of money for First Street. 4.9 now, I like to move it, is still favourite in running. Mary's Rock, 6.8. I like to move it, your favourite in running at 4.9. 5.5 First Street. Dashel Drasher into 8.
This will be a bit of a test on Hendo's form as well. A couple of people mainly after Jet Powered yesterday, which you shouldn't base it on one horse, but the big winners have haven't really been coming, have they? Over the Christmas, and of course,
how good was old?
How good really big one did, anyway.
Yeah, how good was
big
one?
Did, yeah, I reckon he could. I don't know. He could probably have treading a stone and go and beat us all still, that horse, couldn't he? He's just unbelievable. Yeah, absolutely.
I just feel like it's a real shame we're never going to see like loads of them. Like, he's only ever going to run like 4 times a season.
Well, Dashel Drasher is one of those that always goes out and shows himself, and he's just forfeited that easy lead, Rob, by getting a little bit tight there in there, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a tough old boy, don't he?
Yeah, we're not too worried about that. We're not too worried about that. Rex Dingle keeping him in the fight at the minute. I just like it when he was just. I liked him a length ahead. Botox has now breathing down his neck. Nappers Hill, of course, EBF final winner at Sandown. He's going to stay, and he's a quick horse. He's an interesting horse. He's going wide, is Poste.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I'm very happy at the moment. Harry Cobden, he's jumped well early doors, and then, like you say, he's relaxed into a nice rhythm. No problems with that at the moment.
Botox has cried enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the eggs ready. Up he goes, and Dashel's going. Yeah, he's going. I'll tell you what. Unlike Nassalem, he's going quickly back through the field. Doesn't look like he's on a going day at all. We'll be seeing him back at Fontwell in a bid for the National Spirit, I would imagine. Langer down out the back then. Jake Galloway, who's been socialing, and I saw you in the chat mischievously saying, "How far does he fall back out the telly to get those £2 off?"
He's not falling anywhere at the moment.
He will do. He will do. He will do.
Alan King told me Tritonic was in a good place. We were watching What a Shout just before Christmas. He also pointed you to the favourite in the bumper, of course, which closes out the card once we're off air, the Brazil horse. But Tritonic really, now they're stepping on the gas, Barry. What does the market like?
Yeah.
Dashel's out in front.
They still ahead him. He'll gallop all day. He's into 5.5. It's 4.4. I like to move it, though. First Street gone favourite at 4.3.
Go on, Dashel.
Mary's Rock 4.5. There's a whole host at the minute. I like to move with the big drifter now to 17.
Yeah, he's not on a going day. He probably doesn't like these change of tactics, but Dashel's still leading him in. And I like what I see behind me. Because Marie's Rock's been keen. Nappers Hill, I suggest, might be the one. I'll tell you what, if Marie's Rock picks up this horse,
digging in.
Wow, she's a worldie. First Street now fitting his lungs, but Dashel's still going for it.
He's such a tough boy. Go on, the boy.
Give us some Christmas Kringle. He's on the ride. I'll tell you what, he's absolutely
so tough,
loving
mate.
it.
He's so tough.
Let's have some Christmas Kringle. First Street now.
They will not
Henderson's
pass.
attacking him. Do we need a good jump here, Robbie?
Oh, we do. Oh, no, Marie's Rock's coming back.
She's been too keen. Come on, get up and over. Go on,
you've got to love him.
You do not want to eyeball the Dasher. Marie's Rock, if she pulls this out, wow. This is astonishing stuff, because Dasher has really made them go. But Marie's Rock to start pulling for her head throughout, I think it's going to be a 1-2 for Henderson here. She has streaked up the running. If you read your comments in the paper today, we picked this race out months ago for her, Henderson says. She was a big drifter in the market. It's not a 1-2 for Henderson because the tough Drashel hangs on for second, but it was daylight back to the third. Good race, and again, Cheltenham Festival winner coming to the fore, Barry Orr.
Yeah, a 1-2 for the stable. Whose form you questioned there, Dave? Marie's Rock touches off First Street. Well, maybe Dashel Drasher held on for second.
I thought Dashel was second.
There was only one winner at jumping the last, wasn't there? Dashel Drasher, though, traded at a low in running of 2s on 1.51. First Street. He's ran well. I don't think he's got home. I just don't think he stayed. He's 3.4. He traded at a low of 3.4, but I wouldn't give up on him yet. Back to 2 miles, I would imagine, for him. But it's a good run from the mare, and obviously she'll be back to Cheltenham. I'm sure she'll go for the mare's hurdle. It'll be interesting to see what price we quote her.
Yes, a dual Grade 1 winner then coming up in the International, and when he pulled like that and still wins. Sam, good to have you back. Let's Happy New Year, my man. She's very good. That was impressive how keen she was. She was. I mean, they don't often win the graded races like that when you're so keen.
No, she was very fresh early, wasn't she? And I'd say Nico.
For the mares.
Nico was probably he wouldn't have been happy early doors because she just did not switch off at all, and to tank into the race and then pick up and keep on like she did from the back of the last. She's rapidly improving, isn't she?
Yes. And did you say 4? Is she halved in price for a repeat?
She's half for the mares and unchanged at 16s for the stayers.
stayer that
I'd like
you've got to
to
be
see her in the
worrying
Stays.
about, but you've
We'd
got to
all like
worry
to see
about
her
the
in the
keenness,
Stays.
no?
The owners might be. I mean, the owners might be game enough to go. She does stay all right, doesn't she? I think 2 mile 5 is as far as she's won.
Let's see if
she's won around
Honeysuckle.
Warwick in February and 2 mile 5.
Looking at how open the Stayers is, say Honeysuckle goes for the mares, then Marie's Rock could certainly go for the Stayers, I reckon.
Honeysuckle and Epitaph could both go for the mares.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Owners Midland Parker reported she's produced some absolutely exceptional piece of work in the build-up, and that this run would inform connections as to whether the Stayers Hurdle could become an alternative target in March. As it stands, the Mares Hurdle remains the aim.
We have to think that Nicky will be wanting to go to the mares, but the owners might. They're very, very, very sporting owners, aren't they? Nick Palfrey, you agree, Nick? You're saying to put her in the Stayers might be more winnable than the mares. Wow.
Decent
That's
old
a
SP. It opened up at about 5-2 when I looked at the race a couple of days
exactly,
ago.
11-4. That's why everyone was
Yeah.
against her, wasn't it? You know, thinking, well, okay. And Dashiell's run a blinder, hasn't he?
Oh,
Just a
yeah.
lovely animal.
You've got to like it.
He gets carried out in his shield every time, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Special dresser.
Like fences and hurdles.
He's the staying version of Sir
Warrior.
Royale, isn't he? He's
What did you
absolutely
say, the
superb.
Christmas Crashel?
Give us some Christmas Kringle, Rexy Dingle. I don't know where that came from. I have no idea, but I thought I was going to get a big double then at Cheltenham. Midnight River was the one for me before that, and Harry Skelton tells us at the Racing Post that was brilliant. It means a lot to me, that horse. I shouldn't have my favourites, but he's one of them. Because they've broken him in, and it's been hard to get him to where he is. He's a good stayer. He's much better on that ground. Definitely wants it, Paul Keeley. And he's a horse with a lot of progression in him. It'll probably be the plate, I would imagine, now for him. It's just straightforward, isn't it? You go there and it writes itself, his programme book. All right, we've got one more to come from Cheltenham. The first of so many shows coming your way, Racing Post Live in 2023. Let's hear from you out there. Come on, let's have it. We've got to go. We're around about 6 minutes away from the final race. We've enjoyed ourselves up at Musselburgh, Barry. And I've got an old favourite running in this, but what are you going to back?
You certainly have an old favourite running in this. Just let me get the betting up here, Dave. Musselburgh, 4.6 home public has usurped Al Zarakan at the head of the market, who's 5.3, 6.8 first impressions, Collingham 10.5, same price for Void the Rev. Socialist Agenda is 15.5. That's what I like in a course and distance winner. Back last February off 118, came back following 114 days off with a good course and distance, second to the reopposing Arakan. I think come on for that run. Obviously should improve for that run. And Lewis Dobbs claims another valuable 7 offer for Laura Morgan. So Socialist Agenda, please. It's on the drift a bit, so we'll put into back at 18. Odds here. So back at 18, we'll go into the late column, and hopefully someone will 25 quid as usual, please. And hopefully someone will come in and lay a stat bet at 18.
Yeah, he's an interesting horse, Barry. He's a racy horse, isn't he? And I remember. Oh no, we're not laying it, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. That was me.
Come on, Rob, we got this far. Yeah, all right. He's an
miles
interesting
away.
horse, Barry, because Lewis Dobb claims 7. Just quickly, can you tell us a bit about the Dobby?
He's a really talented young rider, yeah?
You love it when I do this, don't you?
Yeah.
Get out your encyclopedic jockey's book.
Yeah, I do a bit of work with him. Yeah,
What a surprise. Got the old Posty shine on him.
yeah, he's very, very tidy rider.
She would have them now, wouldn't she? Because, of course, she uses Adam Wedge a lot, doesn't she? Brian Hughes runs. This chap, they lost Bold Endeavour to Henderson's
Yeah.
yard, but this guy, I think, was not far away from him last year at
No,
times.
potentially not.
He could be well handicapped. I've actually had a little saver on him, but there is one. They've also got Collingham in the race, are the same owners for Donald McCain with interesting chap, Charlie Maggs.
Yeah, he's a young rider. He had 3 or 4 rides in point-to-points in the spring. He'd just be very much starting out his career.
I tell you what, you've earned your corn there, haven't you? You had to go to the bottom of the encyclopedia
Yeah,
to find out about the
understand,
Magger.
yeah.
But he's there as well. Toby Wynn, of course, we saw him yesterday, didn't we? Oh, so nearly on the Moss horse.
Yeah, the worry. I mean,
King's Writ horse.
Batch gave me the old high five because I thought we were in the money. We were waiting.
Celebrating before you know the result of the photo. It's terrible. On Public is an in-form horse, and I just wondered at Sandown last time whether maybe he might have reached his limit, the favourite, but he's in cheap pieces, so they're giving him another go here with a tongue tie on. But I'm going to go for Voix de Rêve. Voix de Rêve, who Barry will be having a wry smile about here, because I think every time he turns up, and he does turn up on this show a lot, this chap, because he runs, sometimes above himself, doesn't he? Fighting fifths and all that sort of stuff. But I'm pretty sure he's gone close in this race before. In
he's
fact,
been
he
second
has.
in it.
Yeah, that's it. He's got
And 4th, I think.
form figures at Musselburgh of 2.24. And he's just come down in the weights to a mark 1 pound higher than when last winning. And I'm hoping that he can do a Manila drama and outclass them. It's not that... Don't go crazy out there. This is Wilder Weather we're talking about. But he has a habit of, when the day is right, going well. And Ian Jardine's had a couple of winners over the Christmas period. He'll do for me.
I was tempted by him, but then I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. With
Let me
his
try
win
and talk you
record.
back into him, surely.
You haven't.
Who are you going for then?
I'm going with On Public.
Give me the case.
Well, I mean, he's been cracking form. I thought the run against Love Envoy was another really solid effort. I mean, I'd argue this is a drop in class from that. You know, as in a.
Yeah, well, it is. It is for sure. Well, he's second top weight, isn't he? So.
Yeah.
Al Zaraqan is the sexy horse sort of coming into it. I remember him. He won a bumper and then got found out against a penalty. Then they went to the flat and did a bit with him, Robbie, as well. Who do you like?
Yeah, I don't like Al Zaraqan. I think that this is a next level above. He's been well placed to win 4 on the spin, but this is a much better race, I think. On Public, like Poste, just excellent form. That Sandown run behind Love Envoy. Love Envoy was very,
I think
very
it is
nice.
Envoy. I think you've got that right.
Trainers have a 100% record at Musselburgh as well. It's only 1 from 1, but.
Is he?
I mean, they're sending this horse quite a long way, aren't they? So.
Well, just let me check that.
No,
let me fact
I would imagine that's because of the new combination, because obviously they're trainers.
Yeah. So it's a smaller sample size than just Oliver Greenall.
I was looking to find a hold on it. You did it within seconds.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, are we going to get matched here, Barry? I'm hearing there's money coming.
We'll just watch and brief for now. Take your time. There's
Okay.
a different sort of race going on up the straight here. Some sort of handicap for humans in Musselburgh at the
Is
moment.
there? We can't see it at the moment. We've got
Handicap for
we've
humans.
got Exeter.
My word, there's a fella in the yellow top, and if he wins,
Is there a ringer in it?
That is something I've always wanted to do, is try to jump a hurdle or a fence.
154th New Year's sprint.
Yeah.
I bet Nat's involved somewhere on the line, isn't she?
That'd be so fun. I'd love to do that.
What? You
I'd
would
jump a hurdle or a
It's
fence.
not over obstacles. I think
isn't it?
it's just a flat.
Oh, it's a bumper, is it? Get rid of bumpers. I said that
He
earlier.
hates bumpers anyway.
10, 15 years ago, you might have been allowed to get away with that on a Saturday at a big track, but now probably health and safety aren't going to let
£5
you
to
do
the
it.
winner. Not
Look at
too
that.
bad.
Oh,
I mean,
look at this. Look, yeah, we can see it. Oh,
Look.
there's a fight and finish as well, wasn't there?
There is a picture of Ian Jardine jumping a hurdle before. It's quite funny.
Is there?
Yeah. Cleared it quite nicely.
I've seen it after I was at
£5 to the
Cheltenham
winner
before.
of that race, would you believe?
5 bags.
Who says there's an issue of
What a
prize
coup.
money?
5 bags. I don't tell you
Yeah.
what, no wonder they were keenly contesting it. There were a
Yeah.
couple of guys
It's
there
not
that
even for
quite
charity.
clearly
It's not
work
even
out
for
as well.
charity.
There were
It's for charity.
There were a few Robbie Wade must be. No, I think probably not for charity. No.
So random.
Imagine if you went up. You know, someone had a Hogmanay and they were a bit like, and you're like, no. Tomorrow I've got my eyes on the prize. I'm going
Yeah.
for the biggie at Musselburgh.
Or you were out in Edinburgh to the early hours of the morning, you just pitched up and took the £5,000 home.
And that would be that, or you could have kept on going like your man who owned the Real Whacker. I wasn't sure if I'd get a chance to say this, but the Real Whacker, they've since come back and said we might even have a look at the Gold Cup.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's the actual quote today.
Yes.
Fair play.
You
Tony
will be
Green did
reading
it.
that. I mean, he could be lacking sleep here,
Yeah,
but
delusional.
they've got a beautiful horse and they know he's going to
Well,
be.
they haven't hung around going over fences, have they?
No. Could he?
I love that bold campaigning.
Who was the?
Michael Yates.
Who was the Bradstocks? What was
Coney
the name?
Gree.
Coney Gree.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep saying Carruthers. He's
Yeah,
tainted
it's
me
just-
back.
yeah,
It's just living in my head rent free. But
Horses should
could
do it.
Coney
Horses
Gree,
should
couldn't
do it. Novices should do
he
it
was
more
he's
often.
similar sort of mould as well.
Yeah,
Front
he was.
running,
Front
staying,
running,
soft
yeah.
ground.
Sound jumper, yeah.
It doesn't happen often enough, does
He'd
it?
be telephone digits for that.
Like
wouldn't he?
Constitution Hill would have won the Punchdown Champion hurdle if he ran that last.
We could run him in the Gold Cup, couldn't we? That would be fine. We might be seeing him over fences as well, of course, after this season. You never know. Right, so socialist agenda then it is for Barry. And Laura Morgan. Not Laura Morgan, Laura Morgan. Wilder Rev for me. I'm excited about this. First impression is also quite like. He doesn't tend to win over hurdles, and he was well beaten in this race last year. Can you remember who won this race last year? I think you did the show with us. Or was it Batch that did the show? I can't remember. You. No, you did Boxing Day. Batch did.
This was the Paul Nicholls horse.
No, it wasn't. Christopher Wood was
sorry.
in the race.
Yeah, what am I talking about?
Yeah, you're very
Christopher
close
Wood
there.
has won it before,
Because Christopher
though.
Wood
Yeah.
had won it, and me and Barry, I remember putting him up. He drifted all the way, he
Robbie.
bumped into one that went into run in the champion
Aurora
hurdle.
Thunder.
It was
Tommy's Oscar.
Tommy's Oscar.
Yeah, and then he went
Tapped in
on
this
to win
race
the
last
Grade
year.
2 at
And then he went and
Haydock.
he did. That's right. And
Champion
then he
hurdle
went.
trial.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Then lining up. Then Barry on Public, sure to go off a well-backed favourite.
Yeah, 4.1 now. So just a 3-1 chance. Alzarakan 4.9. 5.4 first impressions was quite strong at the finish. And we didn't get matched. I'm happy to leave it if we're not matched.
I think you've had a right touch because first impression has given him a right bang as well. Matty Batchelor says, I'd love to see Dave in that sprint. I'll tell you what, Batch, don't go there. I used to be a pretty good sprinter. Terrible at marathons. But I used to have a right go to 100.
When's the last time you went for a run?
Oof, I don't know. So, listen, watch this space, by the way, on that front. Watch this
Yeah,
space.
big year for training.
Could be.
Nice.
I need to have a word with you about that. All right, okay. Alzarakan out the back. Who's there? This is the Cinder Russell horse, one of the outsiders. Cuban Cigar. I love one of them.
You like those?
I would do indeed.
Just a bit.
Absolutely. I'm looking for sizing Mauritius. We didn't mention him. He's got a size of the lead. Samuel Drinkwater had one placed at Newbury yesterday, didn't he?
He did.
Gallic
Geordie.
I looked at this bloke and I wonder whether he might be quite interesting, you know. He's got a first-time tongue tie on today after a break that slightly put me off, and he's a little bit keen up front. In a share of the lead with There Is No Doubt. The slightly more fancied Lucinda Russell horse under Derek Fox, who's going to win a second Grand National this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon.
We're all over that. First impression, he's got, again, this will probably be his day because I've not gone for him, but I don't know, I think he's handicapped about right for my money. He's really full of himself under Billy Garrity. Looking for some of the big players, and West Socialist Agenda, yeah, he's on his inside. Wasn't matched in the end, Barry, and he got a whack at the front. He's right outside the owner's other horse, Collingham as well. Looking for my Voix de Rêve project, yeah, nice and keen out the back, alongside Nayati. They go on to the far side, Barry Orr.
The Socialist Agenda is out to 60 at one stage there, but your favourite, each of two, Hum Public and Alzarakan, are both trading at around the 4.3 mark. First impression's gone favour now, 3.65.
Yeah, okay. I think that was down to the start when first impression basically jinked and gave him a bump, and it didn't cost him that much. Actually,
No, it didn't at all. He was back on even keel pretty quickly.
Where's On Public then? The two of you, the weight of your support has pushed him into clear
favourite. Down the
favourite.
inside, he's sort of 4th, 5th down the inner. He's got a good pitch at the moment.
All right, okay, love it. And we're back. We come for the final time then this afternoon at Musselburgh. The weather looks set fair, doesn't it? I need to get a couple of magpies out of the way. No, we're not watching Robbie Wilders. It is a couple of magpies up there. I'll tell you what, something flattened that. Was that Collingham?
So I missed it.
I said that knowing the answer, hoping Poste was on the ball, but he's just got one horse on mind. He's watching that green on the inside.
Boy, the Rev travels well.
Oh, you know he does. I'll tell
Always
you what.
does, doesn't he?
It means nothing,
This
though.
is
He did
absolute.
it. Do you remember? He did
Here
it.
we go. Here we go. He's on the outside, upside Socialist Agenda. The old boy's tanking his way into contention. I love this.
At Aintree,
12 to 1. I got about this earlier. And Craig Nicholls having a great spin. Let's just see what he finds.
Socialist Agenda got murdered there.
Yeah, again, he's been a terrible run there. I think you're not getting matched.
Good job he didn't
was a
get
blessing,
matched,
I think,
mate.
on the trade. Alzarakan now starting to line up, guys. I'll tell you what, this will be quite an interesting horse, this, if he can come and pull this off. He's going to try and come for last to first under Sean Quinlan. But at the moment, it is still sizing Mauritius. That first-time tongue tie leads them in. Looks like there is no doubt he's cracking. Collingham coming for a go despite that whack. Voix de Rêve now being attacked on either side. First impression finding it a bit hard. On Public doesn't like it, guys, does he?
No, Public's done.
I don't think so. Okay, yeah, all of a sudden I've gone from first to last on
Nayati.
Voix de Rêve.
Brian Hughes, is it up the inside?
Yeah, up the inner, yeah.
Nayati then for Donald McCain, the 9-year-old who's got something of an oxo about him. He wins, he disappoints. He disappointed last time. Could this be another win coming back? First impression then, third last year. He's desperately filling his lungs. Could this be his final day in the sun? They're all clearing up. I tell you what, Public is trying to come back.
Yeah,
and Alzarakan's there as well.
Yeah, I mean, as we go down to the last, like you say, Nayati leads him out
It's
over
a
the last
Donald
with
McCain 1-2.
Collingham. Yep. Or we lose one.
Sizing Mauritius went there. It's just not been a going day for On Public. He's found it too sharp. But it is Brian Hughes. He took out the first for us at Musselburgh on Manila Drama. At the moment, he's holding sway over stablemate Collingham, looking for the third. There is no doubt.
And then Cuban Cigar.
Cuban Cigar as well. So it's a 1-2 for Donald McCain. It's a 3 and a 4 for Lucinda Russell as well in the last race at Musselburgh for today. We've got one more to come at Cheltenham. Barry Orr, give us the story of the market there. When did they know that Hughesy was on the double?
Yeah, when he snuck up the inside there, he's 3s on jumping the lassie, the Betfair SP of 14.5. No real massive in-running news there, Dave. It has to be said it was a pretty nondescript race from that point of view.
All right, 3 down then at Musselburgh. Great to be going across the border then. We'll be back there this year, that's for sure. But back to Cheltenham we go.
Oh, yes.
We've got the 305 coming up. A beaten quote from the Stayers Hurdle for Dashel Drusher.
Yeah, I
Looks
like
like
that.
he might go that way.
He's
Why
been
not?
taking so long to go up to 3 miles. Doesn't really make sense. Just everything everything implies that he should be better for it.
Everyone thought he was a Ryanair horse, didn't they? Because of that Ascot Gold Cup trail.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, okay. Which of course in February might yet still go back there, the old boy, mightn't they? All right, okay then. One more to come from Cheltenham. It's the 3:05. We've got a bit of time to talk in between that. We'll be off air, but we'll be back next Saturday for you. It's Tolworth Hurdle Day next Saturday at Sandown. All being well, weather-wise. Weather looks all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think this week we're all right.
Because it can be in danger sometimes, the Tolworth,
yes,
can't it?
Yes, it can, yeah.
But we're,
Yeah, I'm on as well. See you there.
Yeah, we will, absolutely. Kate Tracy comes back to join us for the first time in 2023. Happy days. All right, good stuff. Okay, where are we going then in this final race? Let's get the market up on screen. There it is. A Buffalo Soldier. I'll tell you what, Jet of Magic, Paul Nicholls, pressuring in for favouritism, Barry.
Yeah, but he's just clinging on at 5.7, a Buffalo Soldier, 5.9 Jet of Magic, 7.8 Wild About Oscar. Hector Javalex is 10, 8.6 Dolphin Square, our old buddy from last year.
Yeah.
Come in for some support. Bridge Norton, Call Me Lord, both 10 each at 2. It's 14 bar. I like Hector Javalex in it. Won a maiden in Suddle and carried a pennant to victory in Ludlow last March. He came back at Chepstow in the Persian War. He was beaten 9.5 lengths in that race. He improved on that when he was fourth to Sweet Will here in November off 123. I just like the way he stayed on really well that day when he was headed. He showed a good resolution. Lily Pincham, we saw her ride a winner yesterday on the show. And at 10, I think eminently backable. So we're going to have 25 quid win at 10, please.
Of course.
Robbie, for our last bet of the day. 25 quid win. And we're going to go to the 3-place market as well and have 25 quid on there as well, where it's currently trading at around the 2-1 mark.
She just went a tad too soon last time you feel on his handicap debut here. She tacked 3 out, and I know it was over 2 mile 5, and he's up in trip. But yeah, unexposed, still more to come from Charlie Longston, who's enjoyed a decent Christmas.
He has, yeah.
2 television winners, of course. What was it called?
Yeah. The rare edition.
You like that?
Good horse.
Does look like a decent
Could that
horse.
be like this year's Barters Hill? He reminds me of that sort of horse.
Barters Hill, yeah.
Tom Siegel put him up as one of his 2 to follow, didn't he, for the Christmas meeting?
Yeah.
So if you get those emails that go out. All right, you know what Barry likes then is Charlie Longston. And could we see a Barry Lily double in the last? She took out the last race yesterday at Newbury. Charlie Post.
T for 3.
T for 3, yeah. Jet of Magic, as in I thought he was unlucky not to win at Taunton. On his last start, he looked all set that he was going to win comfortable, and he dragged his hind legs through the second last, just lost a lot of momentum, and got chinned by I Spy Diva. I think he's still favourably handicapped. He's only had the 2 starts for Paul.
He's getting quite a bit of weight from everything. So is a Buffalo Soldier, who it's been a bit of a tough time for the Great Tricksers, isn't it?
Has, yeah.
They've sort of, I wouldn't say fall from grace, but it's just gone a bit quiet.
He's not really got any Grade 1 horses at the moment.
He flagged this up as a horse, though, that could be getting him back, out there on a Saturday and stuff. And he moved yards as well. His owners bought.
We're all looking We're all looking, and sometimes it could take a little time. And obviously, Steeler March has highlighted that form since he won over Christmas, of course.
Yes.
But the King now goes for the Potemps, it looks like. A Buffalo. So the form is there, and this chap, I think, just unexposed as a stayer, like him, and big ride for Brendan Powell. And I think I'd have him clear favourite actually. Over Jet Magic, yeah, personally, but I know Paul Keeley in the Saturday Scissors as well, Sunday Scissors, of course, today, also likes Jet of Magic as well. Robbie
doesn't feel like a Sunday at all, does it?
Doesn't.
Yeah, I quite like Wild About Oscar. I mean, it's obviously that Sandown race, isn't it, when Ben Bromley misjudged the line. Call Me Lord would have won that.
Yeah.
But Call Me Lord, he's not really. Sandown is where he saves his best runs for, isn't it?
We got the first 3 from that race, of course.
Yeah,
and,
you got Dolphin Square as well with Maxi.
Well, this was a
Maxi
massive
Jazz.
highlight for us last year on the show when Barry put this up at a huge price. He's £10 higher now or something, Barry, isn't he? I think if you're taking David Maxwell's claim. He obviously won that race at Sandown. That was his hat-trick. He's a lovely horse, but obviously you're not with him this time around.
No, he won it off 139 last year. We were on him at 33 to 1. What is he this time around? He's 143. 143, but no, I'd look elsewhere. Obviously, he's won last day, and he's gone up again. Like he won that day in Sandown when he beat Call Me Lord that we were just talking about. He only went up £2 for that, but yeah, I think there's value elsewhere.
Do you know he's won 10 of his 21 outings? Dolphins.
Has he really?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a strike rate.
Yeah.
Some placing that.
And it's good to see Philip Hobbs back with a Grade 1 winner, wasn't it, over Christmas?
Brilliant. Yeah,
because,
There's more like it from Time Hill, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, massively.
But he's very disappointed.
He's off patronage a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I
Hobbsy.
think they were saying, I think he's like on his sort of, I think he's probably going to end up with his lowest total of winners for an awfully long time. You know,
This
But
is a
he's trained
powerhouse trainer.
nearly 3,000 winners.
King is just
Says a
about to
lot.
get up to 2,000. It just shows you, doesn't it? To put him have that's a remarkable
Yeah,
achievement. Isn't it? Balthazar King, all the greats that he's had over the years.
and a lovely bloke as well.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, he's always keen to come on and help us whenever we want to get him on in the studio and all that sort of thing. He's Hobbsy. All right, so good luck if you're going back with Maxi. Honestly, the ride he gave, we could just sort of see, you know, I think it was, what's the Kansas City Chief, isn't it? Who kicked that day.
Victoria Malzard.
That's it, the real Jersey Queen.
Yeah.
And Batch is watching. It seems like he might be. And he came from miles back, and we were just like, he can't, can he? And honestly, we were screamed. It was a great way to start 2022. So good luck if you're on him. I spoke to David Pipe about Brinkley, who is one of the most enigmatic horses he's ever trained, I think. First time visor. If he wants to win this, he can and he will, says David, but they were bitterly disappointed with Haydock, albeit in a fiercely competitive handicap there. Thought Thomas Darby would be shorter in the market.
Did you?
Yes, because he's the class angle.
He is, and yeah, we've seen this a lot, don't we? You know, top weights in handicaps, but
Course winner.
yeah, and his run behind Prashima was fine at Wetherby.
Fine.
Well, it was fine, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's fine.
But I suppose he didn't really follow it up at Newbury, but that was a funny race, wasn't it? Like,
It fell apart from the first
Yeah.
two, didn't it? Yeah.
there's nothing really, like Prashima didn't get into it, nothing really went, and yeah, so look, I think they decided, I think all his runs over the last however
Right.
long have been in grade 1s or 2s and dropped into a handicap, see if that brings about improvement.
I think he'll outrun his odds anyway. Whether he's good enough to win, I don't know. But let's see what you think out there for the final time on this opening show 2023 Racing Post Live, associated with Betfair. And Tom Leach gives Brinkley another chance as well. Handicap to win, and like I say,
The visor works.
it's going to be the day. Absolutely. You just might want to see a bit more money from him, I suppose, with his connections. Jake Galloway, you're hoping the show's going to close it as well. I really like Jet of Magic. You're with Poste. Upwards progression. I think Hector Javalax with Barry as well. Each way claims under Lily, who took out the last. Lily in the last. Andy Sim going for Dolphin Square each way. Always thereabouts. Yeah, absolutely. Looked beaten, didn't he? And I know he shouldn't have won that race last time, but he's a game's a pebble, I think. And Toon 2020, one of our regulars, says, on my old favourite here, Call Me Lord, who they thought had to go right here. He's run all right left-handed a couple of times.
Yeah, he has won at Cheltenham once, to be fair, but I feel like he's always best at Sandown. His top 8 performances on RPRs have come on right-handed tracks as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go back. That was actually the last time he's won, I think. Was it? Let's go.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
They tried him over fences, didn't they, at some point? And they thought it was a certainty, I remember. It never went his way. It was his last win. He won in December. He won the International, beat Ballyandy.
Yeah,
Chittabello.
that was a week-old international, wasn't it?
Wow, he's not won since there. But yeah, look, Kempton last
He's
time.
on a decent mark. I haven't really explained why I like Wild about Oscar, but you know, this horse a couple of years ago sent off 7-2 to beat Brave Man's Game. What was that?
Look at this. I've always wondered how to pronounce his name. And this is a chap that earlier on said he was actually at Tramore with the kids, probably having a bit of a giggle. But I've gone for Duru Azuru, right? Happy New Year.
Duru Azuru.
From me and the kids. Turu, Buru, Kuru, and Huru.
Who is this mystery person?
Happy Hogmanay, my friend out there, wherever you are and whoever you are. Probably a bot that's sent in to do our heads in. But no, one of our regulars as well.
AI.
All the best in 2023, mate. Be prosperous and healthy, my friend. Health is
Indeed.
wealth at the end of the day. Right, okay. How long
He hasn't given his case up.
Yeah, interrupted by this lovely gentleman or gentlewoman. What
be
about
anyone.
Oscar? Yes, always been highly regarded. Sent off 7-2 to beat Brave Man's Game in the Challow a couple of seasons ago.
What about Oscar?
Went off the sort of. That's not. I was going to say went off the ropes. That's not a phrase, is it? Went off the rails. That's what I meant to say. But he did bounce back at Sandown last time. That was his first try at around 3 miles. Got the trip relatively well. I mean, he bolted up in a handicap of 146, so he tox at only 6 or 7 starts back. He's at 136. He's clearly well handicapped, and with old Skelton back aboard.
We've got a top of race price value of 148, so you've got £12 to play with there. If you know,
He is well treated, and he's only just turned 7. Obviously, happy birthday to all horses today as well.
Yes, of course.
So he's still quite a young, low mileage horse.
In the Advent, we are, of course, absolutely. Yeah, they all go.
It's always like this time of year. Always like race cars just feel so much different, don't they?
That caught me out with Thunder Rock, by the way, in the Dipper.
Oh, did it?
I said on What a Shout, we got a 6-year-old, this sort of thing, and of course he's now 7.
Yeah.
You just look and think, oh, he's 10. Christ, where does that come from?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a bit,
It's a weird system, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, this is going to be fun, that's for sure. I'm with Buffalo Soldier, Jet and Magic. We've pretty much got the market covered, I think. Bridge North is a horse that, again...
He bombed out, though, didn't he? And they tried to blame the ground. And, yeah, he's now running again on...
That was behind Dolphin, but he was fancied that day.
Yeah.
And this is going to be my resolution. This is the link. Forgiving horses. Beaten favourite last time at Sandown, right? You got the 3 horses in there that contested that finish. If he bounces back, this is what in 2022 I didn't do enough of. Okay, you back a horse at a shortish price or a shorter price, and then next time when you know they might have had an excuse, you were right in the first place a lot of the time. Stick with the project. But got to be more forgiving.
Are you like that with people as well?
You should tell me that. I don't know. You're getting to
Dave Orton doesn't hold grudges.
No, I don't
When
think
have
he
I?
does.
No.
When have I?
Life's too short.
But with horses, and punting, I need to be a bit more forgiving, I think. It's one of the trickiest things out there, isn't it? You learn your discipline, you pick your targets, you get your form and all that sort of stuff. And then how many times do you check the Racing Post app and go, oh, that has not won?
Oh,
And
yeah. There's
and
nothing worse
horrid
than
price.
missing. There's nothing worse than missing a winner, is there?
Yeah, absolutely awful. So Bridge North is the new resolution horse for a lot of you out there. How many of you have jumped off this from the Sandown race?
Did you fancy him at Sandown?
And got on? I thought he would run well at Sandown, yeah. But again, I'm not putting him up
Trainer's
there.
in great form as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry Daly would, like I say, after losing Hillcrest, a bitter pill to swallow for them.
Yeah.
It's great to see them having some Saturday winners.
Is there any other New Year's resolutions, like personal New Year's resolutions for you? Or?
Not really. Well, I've got a couple of goals.
Have you? Well, get the team promoted.
No, the 100 metre.
The Watford goal is...
He's going to run the 100.
I actually meant your son's team.
Oh, no, yeah, the under-8s that I manage. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a shoo-in. Promotion is on. Promotion is on, don't worry about that.
You got any Poste?
No.
Nah.
No goals?
You're not a man that buys
Beat your
into that
brother in
sort
a
of
few
thing.
more triathlons. You love to do that, don't you?
Yeah,
It's this thing that gets you out of bed.
To be fair, it's not a goal. It's gone.
That's an own goal if you don't do it, is it? Yeah. Right,
Let us
fair
know
enough.
if you're watching. If any of you are doing veganuary as well.
Oh, that's the thing, is it? Veganuary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barry,
I'm
have
hoping
you
that some-
got any punting resolutions, Barry? Anything that you might have done differently in 2022?
Can't say I have, Dave. No, other than I suppose sometimes I don't pay enough attention to stable form, and I fall for horses where the stables are their horses are performing particularly bad. That's something that I probably need to pay more attention to.
Like Nicky Henderson in the last race.
Yeah.
You never know, do you? I mean, we thought it about Dan Skelton as well, didn't we? We were just not quite firing, and then of course Midnight River, Target Horse. You know, they'll be relieved with that, I think, because a lot of the fancied horses haven't quite measured up.
Some of them, but I think
On the smaller tracks they are, but that's going to happen when you're a yard that size, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
It's the Saturdays, but anyway, he had a marvellous run, doesn't he? Sam Hart says his resolution is to stop backing Gary Moore horses, Botox Who, of course, he's now called. But I imagine he must never tell fibs.
305.
All right then, final race of the day. Barry, what's been going on? It's going to be Jet of Magic now for Nichols.
Jet of Magic is all the rage. 4.9 going off Jolly. 6 at Buffalo Soldier. 8 Dolphin Squares come in for some support. Call Me Lord 12. Brinkley 13. Wild About Oscar 9.4.
Love it. Thank you then, Barry Orr, for the final time on the opening show of 2023. And off we go at something of a dawdling pace at the moment. And they're all squeezed up. Call Me Lord out the back. Thomas Darby out the back. Brinkley out the back looking wide as well in that first-time visor. Bridge North then, the forgiving horse. How many of you have gone in again? 11-4 joints he was to beat basically Dolphin Square and Call Me Lord last time out. Now all the way out to 10-1. What's this dueling up front?
Delamar Rocket.
Delamar Rocket. Jet of Magic's up there as well on the inside.
Jet of the Magic's, yeah, he's jumped the first couple well. Like you say, Bridge North out wide. A Buffalo Soldier following through. Brinkley going nicely in the first-time visor. Wild About Oscar, Thomas Darby all there as well.
OK, all right, let's have a look then. What else have we got? Rob, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at my boy Wild About Oscar, certainly. John, my cat's actually called Oscar as well.
There you go.
So it's sort of what Wilders.
You really
Oscar.
are a big fan of this. Oscar Wilde, love it.
Do you know, on Christmas Day, we thought our cat had run away. But on Christmas,
It's
like
finally
an hour,
seen some sense.
From about 10:30 to 11:30, we just couldn't find him.
It's horrible that. But
And then
Oscar Wilder's came back.
And then Oscar Wilder's crawled out of my
That's
dad's
a
wardrobe.
great name for a cat, isn't it? Oscar Wilde.
And his sister's called Emmy.
Oscar just wanted
Oscar's
to
in
meet
the
for
Emmy.
Christmas.
Oh, yeah, right, absolutely. Yeah, quite right. All right, OK, Bridge North then in the show of the day. I'm happy with where Buffalo Soldier is, guys. What about you out there, Barry? What does the market say? Again, I'm surprised that he's still not gone into favouritism now. He's got a lovely position.
Yeah, Jet of Magic's still favoured at 4.2, 5.4 a Buffalo Soldier. They all travel well within themselves, Dave. There's no massive in-running news just yet.
Call Me Lord just got checked slightly on the bend there, been shuffled back to last place.
And what half wonder when a Wild for Oscar's doing what about Oscar? Thank you for that. I've made it this far before I finally get one wrong. He's just pulling a bit hard, is he? But they're going no gallop, really, are they?
No, very sensible early doors, like you say. I mean,
sensible?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Well, sensible for all of them.
I'll tell you what.
Hector Javlex is going to pull itself to the front.
Yeah,
He's not settled.
This is what I mean about sensible. Okay, you jogging, let's be sensible, lads. I can imagine you say as you're going over the first. No heroes here today. But this is ruining it for everyone else.
It's like your wife when you're in the pub and she says to you, Dave, just be sensible, and you just ignore all
and
that.
I go and ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right, okay.
I think I've asked you this before, Poste, but how much do jockeys speak to each other during the race?
Not really. I think it's like an over egg thing, as in you might have the odd comment here and there, but not.
Well, John Frankham was the master at it, and it would be when they went out of, when they didn't have cameras and stuff, wouldn't they? They'd go into the fog and all that sort of stuff, and
You've been ridden too much Dick Francis now.
Absolutely. Ginny Cooper, as Batch said, who was it? The other one, Linda the Plant as well.
Yeah.
That caught us on the hop yesterday, didn't it? Okay, Hector Javlex then got a lovely sit then, just off the three that vie for the lead up front. If you're with the favourite, Jenna Magic, Harry Cobden is riding him with stamina, absolutely no problems whatsoever, and has got the inside. He's so good at doing that, Harry, isn't he?
Yeah.
And finding his right position.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean,
him and Paul at Townend, I think, do it better than anyone.
Very much so. A guy riding at the top of his game, full of confidence. Horse are running well, and like you can see it because he manages to kind of boss the race, and he makes them race around him, doesn't he?
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's how we are then. And at the moment, I'll tell you what. Just have a
Harry Skelton just had a look down under his shoulder.
Is he? I don't know whether that was. Maybe that was. I mean, they're so tightly bunched, guys, aren't they? They might be clipping heels at one point. Brinkley's still in the fight actually out there. Tom Leach for you out there. Dolphin Square, Maxi. I think kind of what he did last year came from out of the clouds, but the race hasn't been run to suit him or Call Me Lord yet. Now they're just sensing Barrier. They might start putting their foot on the gas, finally.
Yeah, you can't separate a Buffalo Soldier and Jeff Maddock. 3.85. It's 9 Wild About Oscar. Hector Javlex has gone out to 18. Dolphin Square 16. Call Me Lord into 10.
Call Me Lord into 10 again. He just got that sort of. He's a classy animal, isn't he? All right, okay, they're all jumping well. Maybe Brinkley just had a little think about that. Again, Maxi just shaking the reins. But Dolphin's got, like I say, he's won half his races, this guy. He's a classy animal.
Yeah, he's one of those horses, he knows where the winning line is, doesn't he? So, I mean, I don't think you need to be worried now. Jeddah Magic, he met two of the last 3 hurdles on tight strides and was not very clever at all. Harry Cobden will be hoping he can see one here because this is an important hurdle to jump well.
And I'm just wondering how Buffalo Soldier's going. He's lost his position slightly, but now he comes back into it. So now Bridge North was just finding his rhythm a bit tricky before he stepped at that one. That was 3 out, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, okay. Hector, watch Call Me Lord. Creeping from the back. Rob, if you had to call one?
What about Oscar, Matt? Keep the faith.
You're still wild about Oscar, are you?
Thomas Darby off the bridle.
Yeah, he's not gone well, in fairness. The market was right about this one. He hasn't enjoyed the run of the race at all. This has not been good for him, and it's turning into a bit of a speed match now. So if you're on the horses that have got stamina to prove, this won't be a bad thing for you. But at the moment, it is the well-backed favourite then, Jeddah Magic, for Paul Nicholls. What a Christmas it's been. And 2023, once again, promises to break more records for the Ditchy Maestro. Could he see out this final race on TV this afternoon? Buffalo Soldier post wide as well. Despite the fact that Brinkley's hardly looked interested whatsoever, you can see why they're frustrated with him because he's well handicapped, isn't he?
Hold on,
very much so. Hector Javlex, he could be in danger of hitting the front too soon again.
Hang on a minute, Lily Pinch.
Yeah, I thought she should have held on to him a bit.
Oh, Barry doesn't like it when they do this on the run. So it's Harry Cobden and Lily pinching. Brendan Powell now filling the lungs. It's the last time out winners.
Come on, Lily.
Come on there, Lily. Hold on to him. Don't go too soon. Harry Cobden on Jeddah Magic is starting to get away.
Go on, Harry.
He's never been over the trip so far. It's Charlie Post and Barry Orr. Dave Orton booked for third. I think Wild About Oscar didn't pick his leg up. Now Lily gives him the backhander. I tell you what, we might be getting this. Come on up the eyes. Could he bookend the card? One on the final jump. Jeddah Magic not totally done with, absolutely pings it.
Yeah.
Whereas Jeddah Magic got a little bit sticky.
Whoa.
Buffalo Soldier looking like he wants 4 miles. Lily pinching. What a start to the new year. She signed us off at Newbury in the long distance chase there yesterday on T for free. She is a young rider going places. Not too far. She's absolutely bolted up. Jeddah Magic second, and it looks like Daylight back to third. Will that be Buffalo Soldier? Yes. Strong form barrier, like you're always in.
Jeddah Magic trade at a low of 2.1, so just a little over even money, but the winner's absolutely danced in. She has a Betfair SP of 10.1, so 9-1 chance. Lily Pinchin, easy winner.
Oh, easy
Unreal.
winner.
Double
Happy
in the
days.
lucky 15.
And again,
Two winners in our lucky 15, and we 3 places as well. So I think we get about 160, 170 quid out of the lucky 15.
How
Very nice
lovely.
work.
Barry's
Very
Legion of
nice.
Support. So we started off with the 12-1 real whacker, who they're actually talking about as like proper Grade 1 material, and Hector Javelax as well. You bet your bottom dollar will be coming back for something at the festival. They're trying to get him Potence, I would imagine now. Maybe even go back to the Gold Cup. Lily Pinchin.
Yeah, good ride. I mean, like I say, I was slightly wary that she might have held on a fraction longer, but I think she had them all drunk, didn't she, anyway? So, yeah, good decision.
Not too far, not too far. Well done, Barry, then. Started off 2023 in style. Thanks again for another stellar shift.
Yeah, thanks, lads. And see you next week or the week after. Yeah, I think I'm going to do one of them, and Mark Haruski's going to do the other one of them. So looking forward to that.
Well, that'll be popular with everyone. The GOAT will be coming back in. But the big hitter signs off then another great start to the year. That was an enjoyable show, wasn't it?
It was a really enjoyable show, yeah.
Yeah.
I followed Barry in. I left Socialist Agenda out and put Il Ridotto in a lucky 15.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, so you're buying the beers, are you?
It's January. We're off it, aren't we? Yeah.
You boys surely don't want to drink today.
No. I'll tell you
Yes,
what.
we do.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to let rip after this. I've been holding on to myself.
I won't be joining.
Robbie,
I won't be
in
joining.
your
I'm
mint
knackered,
green
mate.
top, this is going to be a good year for you, man. I
I
can
think
tell.
so, mate. Yeah, I've got other collared garments to pull out. For
Cannot
other
wait
shows,
to
so.
see what you pull out for us next week. All right,
Yeah.
thanks to the guys, Kieran, Sam, they've been with us both days. Thanks for you for watching. Racing Post Live in association with Betfair is 2023. Great.